We are.
Soca analyst.
You know, it's Richie. Sorry, the other lyrics are just so funny. A scorpion sting me. I feel like I'm dead, baby. If you love me, come lie down in my bed.
And you know who it is. It's your boy Kendricks, a.k.a. Mr. Pear Dracula. Come on, T-phone wine on ya guy.
Hey, and it's Taylor from SLYGHT PEPPAH and Humans in the Caribbean Diaspora.
This is Daniel from SLYGHT PEPPAH and HOTCD.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So we have some very special guests today on the Soca analysts. We're really happy to have them on board.
Mad pumped to be here. Mad excited. It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Let's put the drinks in.
All
Bring
right.
it in for a cheers.
Bring it in.
All right, cheers, you guys.
Yeah.
And you know what it is. You know what we drinking. We drinking punchin'. We drinking punchin'. Hey.
I'm getting slight.
Drove 3 hours just to do that.
So.
Play the thing, Mike.
Perfect. All right, cool.
Yeah, so let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
All right, so come on, guys, introduce yourself.
Again, we are SLYGHT PEPPAH, Humans of the Caribbean Diaspora, two-man effort. Myself,
Yeah.
Taylor.
I'm Daniel.
And, so like, how do you guys even meet? Like,
It's been a long time. We met
been a long time.
Good luck to you.
But yeah, we met back in high school.
Oh shit, just like us.
Oh yeah.
We're in high school. Like, what year? Like freshman.
And it was
Sophomore.
Yeah, sophomore year.
Yeah, because up until that point, I had been like doing all my schooling like in private school, and then one year my dad was just like, "Fuck this shit! I'm tired of paying money. We're gonna put you in public school." So ninth grade.
That's a lot. That's like the opposite of Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so y'all met in high school, sophomore year, and then you were, West Philadelphia, born and
Born and
raised.
raised, exactly. More like
Yeah.
West Baltimore County.
Yeah.
But no, really, you're the main Baltimore like
Yeah.
bred dude.
Yeah, I guess if you want to call it Baltimore bread.
Yeah. I mean, we're both born in Baltimore, but I lived in Pikesville, which was kind of like on the outskirts. It was basically like, it was a heavily like Hasidic Jewish area. Right along Park Heights, and there's like this running joke in that area which goes like, what's the shortest road between Africa and Israel? And everyone just says Park Heights.
Yeah.
Because it's just full of black people and Jewish people like all in one area. And then after that, moved to Owings Mills, and we met at the school called Baltimore Lutheran High School. And from there, we just kind of like, I mean, just pretty much, I feel like just kind of like you guys, we're just into like a bunch of random stuff like anime, video games, and just like
that does sound a lot
shit
like
that.
That's mad funny.
Is this like freaking DC Universe?
They're like alternate versions of us. Parallel universes. Keep it third eye open, people.
And then, I mean, we should tell them the story about the music, like how you got into. Tell them the story about like
the first guitar.
The guitar thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So it's like SLYGHT PEPPAH is a band.
Right.
Man, what kind of music do you guys make? How would you even identify your music? Because I mean, you're from Baltimore. Why is this like, no, watch out for the big girl?
Yeah,
watch out for the
as
big girl.
much as I love that shit, I would
know.
say that for the most part, we always kind of like did our own thing. Just like
It's always been different.
even just like as individuals, we were never like, like, okay, we gotta do the black shit, we gotta do or whatever shit. You know what I mean? Like we just kind of like did our own thing.
So no like lean records.
No lean records, but we do have rum. And we have a we don't have a record label, but whenever you kind of fill things out in SoundCloud, it'll ask you like what record label it is, and I just like as a joke, I'll just write in Rum Shop Records.
Hey.
You know?
That's mad funny.
I'm for self-entertainment.
Yeah, I'm for self-entertainment. Yeah, and then so as far as like genre, I would say because of that, we always just try to mix different things that we listen to over time.
Yeah.
So I'd say there's a heavy, obviously there's like a heavy like soca influence, but then I would say there's a heavy like Latin influence as well, and then
Kind of a little trap. Catch you with the hi-hats.
little hints of.
But it's like just like a really like tiny hint of it.
Just like the dash of bitters, you know?
Dash it, dash it.
That dash of track.
That's actually really cool because it's like just one of those things where you can't boil it down to like a single genre. Because I'm listening to it and I'm just like, oh wow, like there's like this, but then there's also this aspect, and I'm like, fuck, this is like actually really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And I've heard like a few tunes too.
I remember
Thanks, man.
you said it was like a Yankee soca or something.
Oh shit! Yeah. I was toying with that. I was toying with that genre for a while. With that name.
Yankee
Yankee
But
soca.
yeah, Yankee soca. Yeah, because like it was kind of like
Yankee soca.
That sounds like a soca song already.
Yeah.
Was it like Yankee soca?
What's this, Old
Oh,
McDonald?
that's actually a song.
Yeah.
Robin was his name. Oh,
What is this?
You.
You made us right now.
Like Old McDonald.
You should join the SLYGHT PEPPAH band, bro.
Yo,
You can't miss on
exactly.
the SLYGHT PEPPAH
Yo,
band.
you just did like a Bungie Garland freestyle. Just now. Like my mother's from Trinidad, my father's from Baltimore, Maryland. He's straight up.
Yeah, I'm straight up.
And then he's straight up from Baltimore.
Your family is just like African American.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Straight up.
So I think just by that, I never wanted to say, we were like straight soca, whatever. You know what I mean? I kind of want to represent exactly like what.
Yeah. So like, what music did you
combination.
listen to like growing up? Like.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
man!
it's like- it's literally
we
everything.
could get into some deep. Yeah.
That's dope, though.
You wanna start?
Does this tie into this guitar thing you talked about, or no? Like the music.
Kind of, like, kind of a little bit. Growing up, my parents were kind of like hippie
Oh, you're
kind
like
of stuff.
hippie?
Like, yeah. So,
Wait, hippie black. I don't. What's a hippie? I'm trying to think of a hippie black. Is that like big afro?
Oh yeah, they
and
exist.
everything?
yeah, they're around. So it's like a lot of guitar stuff, really everything, but it's like jazz,
Yeah.
Beatles, all kinds of rock stuff.
You know?
So I was kind of influenced to play the guitar from my folks, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Who did you look up to playing the guitar?
I'd have to say it's kind of a generic answer, but Jimmy Page was pretty cool. But getting back to the guitar story.
I want to hear the story. You guys been building up the apprehension for this story. I'm like on the edge of my seat right now.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Wait, let me bring up my point and then I'll have you jump
okay.
in. So basically, senior year of high school, we had our high school set up in a period. So like we had 8 periods in a day. And then seniors got their the 8th period.
Okay.
You didn't have to go to class.
Okay.
So you could either go home, but if you didn't have a car like us, we would just kind of like stay in the halls and just like
fuck
chill.
around.
Just fuck around,
yeah,
yeah.
and then like do nothing until like our parents like would pick us up or something, or Ryan would pick us up or whatever. So I would always like sit there and play guitar because by that time I had been playing since I was about 12. And I brought my guitar because I was a part of the high school jazz band. And every day after school I would just sit there and play. People would be around and it would just be like almost kind of like a weird hippie thing in itself. And then
I feel like all these high schools.
Yeah, so
have
it
that
was,
same
you were
shit.
playing
Woiii had that too.
Was it
I'm
slow
not gonna lie, I
motion?
fucking hated that shit.
No, we had it on our high school too. Like all the Filipinos, they would like come through with their guitars, and then they had like the white people
like,
with their
personally,
guitars.
like,
oh really?
And then
Acoustic guitar is one of the things I hate the most.
It's pretty annoying.
Because it's so it's like a lot of times it's just so fucking swaggerless. You're just fucking singing Wonderwall over and over. And they have that way of singing, that Green Day voice.
I hate that voice.
It's always mine.
Like, yo, we're at a barbecue and your bitch ass want to sing Indian style and sing Wonderwall. But yeah, sorry to hate on your.
Wait, the follow up.
But yeah, so Taylor's playing, I think, slow motion, the juvenile
slow
song.
motion,
Yeah,
on the guitar.
But
See, that's
Yeah,
all
that's
swagger.
why-
That's
shit like
good.
that.
He's already working on it.
But he's playing it the wrong way, though.
Yeah, I was playing it the wrong way.
So I came over and like snatched the guitar out of his hands and just started playing it like the right way.
So
Yeah.
backstory, no one. So Daniel, and you'll probably hear me call him like D-Bright every now and then because like in high school that was like a nickname that pretty much stuck.
Yeah, it's
But
never going away.
yeah. So he was, you were a pretty quiet
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
back in high school. Yeah,
Still
like,
am, kinda. If you
yeah.
think so.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even more so. And, no one really thought that he played music at all, or even, like, it was, like, of an interest to him. So all of a sudden, like, when he took the guitar from me, I was like, the fuck is this guy gonna do? And then he starts like playing it like actually correct, and like everybody's just like looking at D-Bar just like, what the fuck is that?
Where the fuck did that come from?
Okay, so you guys living in an anime apparently.
That's exactly. Yeah, you probably did it.
No, you
probably did exactly. Right before you grabbed the guitar, he probably took his glasses and like pushed it up. Yeah, he like pushed the glasses up and had like a little like shine in his glasses.
Exactly.
And he had the smirk like.
Yeah, the smirk, and then like the two black like lines just like over.
And then everyone was like, oh, Soca. And then he like stopped playing, and then he like had the hand on the glasses again.
Like it was like some ridiculous.
Yo,
pose.
that's so funny. Oh man, that's great.
But yeah, true story. And yeah, ever since then we like we never like did anything like during that time. But I think back in college.
Closer to that.
Oh yeah, and freshman year of college, I really wanted to do something with music, and I knew that he played guitar, and by that point he was playing, he was getting lessons, he was really really good.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, myself, you, and we had another friend named Sani, Nigerian dude. He was a drummer. He played drums in his church. He was like a sick drummer.
Yeah.
He would like play like, but he wouldn't play like we went to a Nigerian church, so he wouldn't like play like, you know, like
the standard.
Hallelujah.
No, he would play like, shit like, you know, like, but like with like a rhythm. You know what I mean?
Mad funny,
So
dude.
we were like, yo, we gotta like mix some styles together. So like literally back then up until now, we've like gone through so many different
There's
genres.
been so many different.
So back
phases.
then it was like a weird mix of like, we were like, yo, we should do like indie music, but like indie music with like some rhythm and like some like, you know, some blackness to it or something like that.
Seasoning.
Yeah.
So, you know,
To
put
feel
some
like-
good seasoning.
Yeah, so
Indie
like
music.
that definitely came through with his drumming, but he's doing his own thing right now.
Yeah.
He's not really playing music like that anymore. He's at Johns Hopkins.
Oh, like doing the whole doctor stuff.
He's
It's
doing an engineering degree.
Yeah, engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then he and I just were like, yo, like we just need to do our own thing. But at that point we never like dove into production, you know, using a computer. But then we had a friend who rapped, and then he introduced us to like FL Studio.
Oh,
He was like making beats and like
Fruity
rapping.
Loops and everything.
Fruity Loops, yeah.
That's how we get
And then,
started.
yeah, and then literally from there, like I was like hooked on it because like at the time I would say I'm more of like a creative person than I am of like anything else. So even more so than like being a performer. So I just like dove into it. I was just like, we were
spend
making
hours.
Yeah, we would make beats like nonstop. Like
Yeah.
there's like that one like Kanye line where it's just like,
Oh, dude.
yeah,
25
25
beats in a
day,
room for
yeah.
3 summers. Or like, yo, 4 beats a day
yeah,
for like 3
yeah.
summers.
We tried to do that shit. Yeah.
It's like, yo, Kanye did it. Why Yeezy did it?
yeah. So yeah, basically we were doing a whole bunch of random genres and shit. Like we did, we made beats for the rapper, Errol, and
He still raps?
Yeah, he still raps. He just put out a new
Mixtape.
new mixtape,
much,
but then we just decided, you know, we need to come together and do our own thing. We've been into some really weird genres.
Like what?
literally,
Like what's weird?
The
Yeah,
weirdest
what's
thing
weird?
that you would not expect us to listen to
Yo,
would
I've listened
be
to, like
early 70s prog rock.
So, like,
Genesis,
like King Crimson, Genesis.
Yeah.
How's that
Pink
weird?
Floyd.
That's not weird.
Well, I would say weird for
weird.
two people from Baltimore. You know,
That's
what I
not
mean?
weird to me at all because I listen to everything. So it's like
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be weird if you listened to like
I thought like no, if you're saying like
the Holographs Japanese pop artists.
Oh, no.
That's what I was expecting.
or
Like,
like noise music or something like that.
yeah,
or,
okay,
like-
okay.
Yo,
Yeah.
that music like is like everywhere in Baltimore.
Wait,
Yeah, it's
people listen to
terrible.
noise
Yeah,
music?
Yo,
it's
people go to
actually
noise
big.
shows.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's like a
Wait,
weird culture. Yeah.
They listen to noise music?
Yo,
They
remember that
pay
time we went to that
to go
show
listen to
and
noise
like that
music.
homeless guy came out?
Yeah.
And, like,
He had this metal chain.
he has
and
no
he's
chain,
just, like,
and there's
swinging
like
it
this
against his,
random like
metal
There's,
thing.
like, this random, like,
what
pyramid.
ethnicity are these people that go to?
White and
Well,
Asian. Well, primarily
Huh.
because like the area. I don't know if you've heard of MICA. It's the Maryland Institute College of the Arts or something.
Yeah.
But I think it's really big in Asia. We get a lot of like
Chinese,
Asian
yeah.
international students.
Mhm,
They pay crazy money.
yeah, they
Yeah,
pay like
yeah.
like more than full tuition.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like they have their own vibe to them, like, in Baltimore we call them like the Meekins.
Rise of the
Because literally like they're like. Because like the juxtaposition is crazy. They have like them, and they're like on this area called North Avenue, and North Avenue is a very historically, it's been like a really rough area. So you'll have like people like leaning from like heroin and everything,
Yeah.
and then you'll have like these like early 20s, maybe late teen, like college art students like walking around in like weird, almost kind of cosplay looking shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then like there are like a bunch of like noise bands, and I think the other kind of music that's really prevalent there is, I mean, obviously you have like Baltimore Club, and people kind of do their thing with that. But I was saying,
you're not doing that bullshit go-go music.
Go,
right?
yo, go, like
yo, chill mo.
Yeah,
chill mo. Hey, Joe, know you mo.
Yo, yeah, like that. To be honest, I always say
What do you think? What do you think about go-go?
So if go-go was actually recorded in a studio and it wasn't just like seeming to me some guy holding up a microphone in a concert, like it would probably be decent.
Because my thing with go-go is like it was just like I know Richie probably never heard go-go.
No, I don't know. What is go-go?
I don't know. It's just like this. It's a genre of music that's really only popular in DC. And like
Okay.
So it's like. It hasn't really like after A. Marie, like it's this one thing that got me feeling. That was the last.
She was one of my like early high school crushes.
She's so bad. Her legs are crazy. But but like the thing is like that was the last time it was like mainstream.
Yeah.
And then after like they didn't ride this wave, and now you're looking at this wave with the internet. And like regionality is going away, so like before it's like this is East Coast hip hop, this is down south hip hop, and like that's completely being destroyed through the internet. And now like all these other like local like genres, like New Orleans bounce.
I love bounce.
Yeah, but it's finding its own success, and like now go-go's just here like in this like weird space. I remember even Wale was like, I want to do it for DC.
Yeah. Wale was trying to like bring it up, but
Wale's
it's not happening.
like, fuck this, I'm going to my Nigerian roots. Like, I mean, he still puts on for DC, but it's like I don't know. It's just like it doesn't sound good. It doesn't like. I know it has something. It has something there, but
there's something there, but it needs to be polished.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
How they're gonna push this forward, but. So
Like,
no go-go.
No go-go. But I honestly think that their issue was just they just record it in like a proper studio.
So
it literally sounds like they're live recordings, and like that's the only recording that's available. But it's like a shitty live recording.
Yeah, if it was a better live recording, then because like live recordings it works.
Yeah, it can work.
It's only for certain genres. Most of the time they suck.
Yeah, but like I would say for go-go, it's like a lot of you can't really hear the vocals that well. It's like a lot of like.
So they just need like someone to master their.
They need some. Yeah, they need some work, but I don't understand like why anyone's. I guess like that's like the vibe they want to go for. Like this is like the go-go sound or something.
Yeah.
But
Well, I wonder, is the quality worse than what we see in the Soca Monarch videos?
Oh no, it's not like that.
Is it like Motorola Razr, like megapixel?
It's not like It's not like we record this on Roti. It's not
right.
That is because in the last podcast, me and Kendra were talking about this because I was like, in Guyana, when they like record like the Chutney Monarch competitions, I don't know who does this, but they take the camera and it's already like a low budge camera, like it's all pixelated and shit.
Yeah.
But they situate it on the stage like next to the speaker, so on every single beat the camera's just shaking like that with the bass of the speaker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the only way I could like think about it, comprehend it in like Soca terms or Chutney terms. I'm like, all right, well if it's not as bad as that, then all right, maybe they can like improve it.
Wait, so
somehow.
this is the Chutney Soca Monarch in Guyana?
In Guyana, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
This one, I don't know, but I haven't watched the Chutney Soca competition, but like they still do like chutney competitions in Guyana, where like everything is still like in I think everything is still like in the language of like Bhojpuri, and they're mostly.
Oh, that's dope.
Oh,
Yeah.
they still have the language?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's either in.
I know it was only
it's-
Suriname that
it's,
had it.
It's either in Hindi or Bhojpuri. I don't remember.
I know
exactly.
Suriname is weird where like they kept every single language that they came there with.
Yeah,
Suriname
yeah.
is
That's
weird.
another country that I really want to explore.
Suriname's
I don't
really
know
interesting.
shit
Yeah,
about
that's-
Suriname.
that's such an interesting
So Suriname
plan.
is cool. I have one uncle and aunt who are like they're from Suriname, and it's interesting because they like how we have like our like our like kind of like hub here in in Queens. They have like a huge hub in Holland.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
because they were like a former Dutch.
they're former Dutch colony,
that
but they
makes
can
sense.
they can actually speak. They can like
But
speak.
that's the thing,
They can
'cause they
speak
were
Dutch. They can
colonized.
speak English.
Oh,
They
wow.
can speak like the Indian, like whatever. Like
Because
they
like
speak Bhojpuri or
they
Hindi.
were like colonized, but like compared to all the other islands are colonized, we lost. Most of us lost their like.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like,
Guyana's people lost like so much
like
shit.
in Guyana, they had like a Dutch Creole that's like gone.
Yeah.
Like they used to have.
Yeah.
Like as opposed to like Suriname was right next to it.
Yeah.
Somehow it was like kept like 8 different languages. Like like you guys may know like Faluma and things like that. Like Alison Hines sung it in their original
Yeah.
language, and that's like the language they came there with. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is,
yeah,
yeah.
all that
Alison,
colonization,
it's so
like,
cool.
you kept all of that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
insane, yeah.
it's really dope. I'm like actually happy because I feel like a lot of soca artists like very rarely do what like Alison Hines has done with that kind of stuff in terms of like Faluma and also like Makalele, and she just has a way of kind of like bigging up like extreme minority crowds.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Makalele, she did it in like the language of like indigenous people language of Trinidad.
Oh,
and
shit,
the way
yeah.
she did it like the music video. It's like the way they did like the
Have you
tribal.
seen the video from
the video?
Makalele?
Yo, the
Yo,
video is
it's
one of the best
amazing.
videos I've seen. I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like so. Just
She like remade. She remade like
They
the
remastered
Faluma
it
one,
and
and then she
everything.
put like Makalele at the
in
end,
it,
and
yeah,
was just, like,
it's really really cool. But like yeah, no, it's interesting when it comes to language and like different parts of the Caribbean, like especially like Suriname, because it's like you don't meet people from Suriname very often.
Yeah.
But
I
when
mean, I knew one kid like when I was a little younger from Suriname. He was Surinamese. That was the first time I ever heard Suriname.
Honestly, I've never met any.
I met one in
I've
China.
never met any.
I met 2 guys in China from Suriname.
Actually, no. When I had that wedding, like that was a Surinamese dude.
Yeah.
Got me like mad drunk and like when
Yeah.
I had also we were talking about like Hindu weddings in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like I had one in my backyard pretty
Yeah.
much. You know, like
nice.
my family is not that, but my neighbor was getting married, so like we opened like the entire
Yeah.
Yeah.
like it was like 4 houses, but my backyard for some reason had most of the space. Most people were like in my backyard.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So what would you say like what is Suriname kind of recognized for?
I don't know too much about the country, to be honest. Very similar things like to Guyana in terms of like natural resources and stuff like that. There is something very interesting about the people that I've met from Suriname, at least in my experience. I haven't met many. I've met 4, and all 4 of them are actually like that. I don't know if it's like just like a Suriname thing, but like the people from Suriname who I've met are like all like really intelligent. Like when I was in China, the 2 dudes I met from Suriname, they were like these like they were like agricultural biologists who were like trying to invent like a super rice. So they're in China, and they're like studying agriculture in China because rice is like.
Why did they have to go to China?
Oh, they were there on research.
They're doing research there.
Oh,
they're
shit.
They're doing research in China, and they're like trying to learn about like Chinese like rice farming methods, and they were studying like the history of it and like how it's changed. And like their goal is to like go back to Suriname and create like the world's first like super rice.
Super rice.
Yeah, it can like withstand any type of weather and like all this
That
shit.
sounds like GMO rice.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? But like that, and like I met them at a bar,
Yeah.
right? And like I was talking to them, and they just came over, and they were just like, yeah, like what are you guys doing
Yo,
here?
I met some random people. I actually met like 2 people from Haiti and fucking Nanjing.
Oh, that's actually really
No,
dope.
I was just like, yo, what the
Yeah, what are you guys doing here? What are you doing here? They probably said the same thing to you, bro.
Yo,
I
it's
was
like
speaking of it in Creole. I was drinking and I was mad tired, but like
It's like that picture meme of like Spider-Man and they're like pointing at each other.
yeah. No, but one of them was like straight from Haiti, but like he spoke English too, and the other one was from like Miami. But it was just like, yo, it was like, oh, where, like, in Haiti, like, you from, like, oh, you're from Jeremy, like, oh, that's where my grandma came from. And I was like, maybe they're joking, but then I had them on WeChat,
Yeah.
and see, like, pictures of them there.
WeChat.
I was like, oh, shit, like, that's crazy. But yeah, let's get back to this music thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so,
So we kind of give you enough background, but I mean,
Yeah.
as far as what we do right now, it's definitely.
I mean, you can find out on SoundCloud and
SoundCloud, if you type in SLYGHT PEPPAH,
yeah.
SLYGHT.
It's spelled the Trini way.
Yeah. And the idea of it is that, you know, we have a mix between, obviously, like we call it like Yankee soca and whatever. You know, we have a mix between like the Trini and the American culture. So we like the idea of SLYGHT PEPPAH because it's just like you know, like a slight to this, slight to that, you know. And then we also want to tie it into like the obvious like Caribbean you know, culture by calling it SLYGHT PEPPAH, you know. And you know, and also having that represented in the kind of music that we have, a slight bit of this, slight bit of that, you know, but still kind of rooted in the Caribbean. And
how do you feel about having music rooted in the Caribbean?
I mean, that's one thing about me is that musically, I love everything.
Yeah. So we're kind of like the same on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like when I make music. I think that both of us, it's sort of like you stop thinking about what you're actually trying to make, and you actually just create something.
and I think, well, I was gonna say like for me, for the longest time, whenever I tried to make something, I would be in my head a lot, and I'll say I want to make this thing. But when I noticed all the way up until this point, until now with SLYGHT PEPPAH, like I realized that, and I've always been kind of like suspect of these kinds of things, but like it seems like your upbringing really does affect what you like. It's like who you are. So I noticed that just like with like the instrumentals that I'll make, or like the melodies that I'll come up with, or the words that I'll say, it's probably the most natural thing that I've been able to do creatively. Because it reminds me of the things I will listen to whenever I go to my grandmother's house and she's playing like Calypso or Soca, you know, and then I'll automatically, because like me and my brother would always like just like grow up and like just chant these things and just like have fun and laugh.
So how does this relate to Marvin the Beast track? Your
Yo,
grandma,
the Marvin the Beast. Okay.
How does that relate to your grandma?
So no, my grandmother, so she's actually pretty funny, but she's not gonna be she won't be a Marvin the Beast victim.
The fact that I just heard Marvin the Beast and grandma in the same sentence,
I'm pretty sure Marvin the Beast had a chance he would get somebody's grandmother.
Oh hell yeah.
And Dagger,
I've already seen him do it.
But no, I mean, that song, so up until that point we were making certain songs, and I think we talked about some of the music beforehand, but it had kind of like a lighter feel. And up until that point I was like, I want to make an aggressive kind of song, you know? And then for some reason I had this thing, I was like, so then I start filling in words. So that's kind of how I do it. I think of a melody, and then I start coming with nonsense words.
You just fill it in,
and then I fill in words afterwards. I'll be like, you know what I mean? And then like I'll fill in like a word, or like something will sound like a word, and then I'll be like, okay, that sounds like a word, and then let me make some sense out of this.
Right.
So then I was like, I was like, beast, like Marvin, you're my feast, and I was like, wait a minute, feast, okay, I can turn this into something. And then I was like, wait a minute, so okay, is this gonna be kind of related to Marvin the Beast somehow? So I was like, I can't do that, can I? But I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So and then we made the song, and I pitched it to Marvin. And
you pitched it to Marvin the Beast.
What happened with that?
You pitched the song to Marvin the Beast.
So like literally, because I was on his Instagram, and he has like his phone number there on WhatsApp.
That's actually that's mad funny. Call me if you want a quick dagger.
So like 1-800 dagger.
So like literally, I'm trying to see if I can find it. There he is.
1-800.
So like literally, we've had conversations.
WhatsApp coming with Marvin the Beast,
So like, I was like, hey, like this is we made a song. And
he said, hey, bro, you've inspired a whole that's dope. You have Marvin the Beast on WhatsApp.
So like literally, wait. Hold on. He wanted to do like his own verse.
You should have
No, we sent it to him, but like he never like we kept calling. It was like saying hey, did you like listen to it? Did you email? But like it just seemed like it kind of like fell through. But no, he eventually got the song. Like he heard it.
Because it was good. Like, I could see him daggering to that.
I could see him making a thing like, gotta make a dagger upon it. Gotta make a wine upon it. Come up in a tree.
He does it to like Sex Slave, that Carlito song. Like, I'm just gonna hit it. Like that's when he's gonna like Mortal Kombat fatality, someone's wig off their head. Pretty much.
But no, literally, like we sent that song to him. He got it eventually, and then he was like, that song. You're like da 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 da, and then it's like, who, like, what kind of rhythm it is? Who made the rhythm? And then I was like, we made it. And he was like, you made this. It's like shit. It's like I was like, I'm gonna jump on this. He was like, then he was like, basically he wants to get on, he wants to add like a verse and everything. And then
we should have gone with that shit.
But no, like we were like, yo, do it. And then he never did it. I guess he was just like
probably
busy.
just busy.
Yeah.
You should try to link back
Yeah,
up.
I'm trying to. Yeah, definitely.
Yo, you get the first. You get the first track with Marvin the Beast on it, bro.
No, exactly. That was
Marvin the Beast, yo, can we get a verse on this? Yo, let's make this into collab, yo. SLYGHT PEPPAH, Marvin the Beast with the Soca analyst, yo.
You know,
Kendrick.
Yo, we just had the whole rhythm, right?
Yo.
And then we just like, just like how they have like those playlists, and then you have like a rhythm by different artists and everything. We'll have like the Marvin Beast one, SLYGHT PEPPAH one, Soca analyst.
I gotta put that on the Trello like right now.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
Yo, that'd be so dope, man. Like
that's something there, and I think you should definitely.
Like that beat is like stuck to the like.
Yeah.
Like I want to wine talk. I want to wine go right now.
That's like some like WWE. Like if he's coming out. Like,
because like when we're making the beat, like literally, or the rhythm, like literally, we're just like listening to it, and I was like, okay, I know it has to be a faster pace, and I know it needs horns. Like it can't not have it. And then I was like, okay, shit. And then like the beat is pretty like pretty like 4 on the floor kind of thing. Just like, okay, this is like a really driving kind of thing.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, I don't know. Like he even asked me, he was like, so what kind of rhythm is it? Like, is it
no?
Soca?
Because like I understand because he's coming from like Jamaica, you think like rhythms,
yeah. And
then
then I was
like, we made this. Like, it's like, whoa, what do you mean?
Yeah. And then I was just kind of like, well, I don't know. Can I ask like a bit of like a I thought it had a little bit of like a jab kind of feel, like a jab kind of feel.
Yeah,
to
like,
it, kind of like a kind of like a overly almost like aggressive kind of thing. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
Good, do it before this daggering wave like goes down. Everyone goes back to slow dancing the compa.
Yeah.
Or some shit. Like.
But that's the other thing too. We just want to, and then for a while after that, we were. So for a while we were doing one song a week. That was our thing. Yeah. And then we realized like after a while we're like we really want to take time with the next songs that we put out.
Yeah.
So we put out another one. Was it this past week? And it's probably one of my favorite ones so far.
Which one is that?
It's called.
Every new one's a favorite one.
I don't always say that, but no, this one definitely is like.
They're like Richie. Every time it's like, yo, this is the best food I've ever had. Yo, he'll do
thanks, man.
Yo, this is the greatest thing ever. I swear to God, man.
But it's called. See, that's how you know. Like we put out too many damn songs. I can't remember the name.
You're gonna oversaturate yourself like Vibes
like
Cartel.
Vibes Cartel.
Yeah.
Little Wayne.
Yo, I'm gonna be thrown in jail, and you'll still see songs like coming out.
Yeah.
But it's called Don't Trouble Me. And
Don't trouble me.
like we took about like 2 weeks on it, and it was just like after a while it's just like, okay, this has to go. Yeah. It was just like it was my favorite one of my favorite.
So how do you feel like creatively? Like is it like because there's also like you don't want to do too much. So how do you know like they're not like doing too much? Cause like cause like as a creative like this is like every single track is like this is my baby.
Yeah.
So someone comes out like this is fucking ass. Bro.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like straight like non like like constructive. So how do you like?
Bro,
how do you like navigate
this.
through all that? Like how do you navigate through like criticism? How do you navigate through like not touching it too much, knowing when to like leave it or knowing when to go into that? Like how do you navigate? Like
well, I realized a while ago that you cannot put anything on the internet without being open to a troll or 5. You know?
Do you have any trolls?
We actually don't have any trolls,
like,
but but as far as like maybe putting something out there that let's say for example if it does get like negative criticism, I think the fact that we put out so many songs, I think when you put out a lot of stuff within a short amount of time, you kind of lose.
Gonna like,
well, yeah, not just that. I know what you're gonna say, but you also kind of lose attachment to it. Like it does feel like your baby when you're making it. But if you put it out like a lot, like put out a lot of music, you kind of lose attachment to it. Like even me, like I just said, like this is my favorite song, and I couldn't remember the name of it. So like for me, it's just like. In the moment when I'm making it, it's like, yo, this is like the shit. And then like when I'm putting it out, it's like, this is the shit. But like a week or two later, I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look at him. He's horning on his songs.
Yeah.
He's like go horn again.
Trinidad Ghost's gonna come on, yo. You could probably get Trinidad Ghost on this beat too, yo. Marvin the Be Soca analyst.
Yeah, Trinidad
Slight
Ghost,
Pepper,
yeah.
Trinidad Ghost.
Yo, we're just gonna have like, we're gonna have a whole roster.
Yo,
Yeah.
it could be like, what's that rap song with like all those artists on it, yo? With
like-
like
it's like
Drake
20
and
minutes long
Eminem
or
and Lil Wayne.
That
and-
sounds like some LimeWire shit, bro.
that's that shit, yo, where Drake was like...
That's some LimeWire
you
shit
guys-
where you be like Marvin Gaye featuring 50
Yeah.
Cent. He's like,
Yo, no, I think if we all came together and put all our creative efforts, we can make a fire Soca
Yo,
tune,
exactly, man.
I really
Yo,
think
that
we
shit would be
could,
amazing.
Kendricks. Like,
Yo, if
because like all of us have like
let's
like,
just make
like
Warren
things
write
that
the
we can
lyrics.
offer to the table.
make
Exactly.
Warren write
Just
the
like-
lyrics
just
so they
like-
can go on him.
Oh, we gotta get Warren in too, yo.
It's like,
Do you guys know about Warren Civic, the Soca critic?
No.
Oh shit, yo.
You gotta put us on.
All right, so
Yeah, yeah.
Warren Civic, the Soca critic. This is actually mad funny how we met Warren. We never actually met Warren in person, but Warren lives in Trinidad, right?
Yeah.
And when Kendricks and I started the Soca Analysts, as you guys know, we started like just like purely for
we're just
shits
like, yo,
and
fuck it,
giggles.
let's just
Just
do
like
it.
us. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like literally,
yeah.
like because we would do this, and we were like, "Fuck it, let's just record
this
it,"
is
right?
how we always
That's how we
do
started.
shit,
yeah.
So when we started talking about Soca, and we started doing like reviews, like Jelani knew Warren, and they would talk to each other.
Pretty much, Jelani was the first person.
Yeah,
who knows us.
yeah.
Like,
really?
He is on like. I mean, he's on everything Soca. Like he's on.
He's like on everything.
Like,
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
way Jelani found us was he saw the video that we did of it was like our reaction to
Alone.
like Calypso Rose.
Yeah, Me
And then
Alone.
he thought it was mad funny. So then he hit us up and he's like, "Yo, do you guys do DJ mix reviews?" And I was like, "Well, we never thought about it, but like we might as well."
Yeah.
So
Oh, so that's how that started.
that's how that started.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
from
Right,
Gel. Okay,
from Gel,
cool.
yeah. And then Gel put us on to Warren, right? And yo, I literally, I remember I took a screenshot and I sent it to Kendricks, yo. And yo, I remember I just woke up one morning on a Saturday. I was kind of hungover. I'm like walking around in my house. And I got a message on my phone, and it's like, it says, the name says, it's a Warren Civic, right? And then I click on it, and it's like, I look at his profile, it's like Warren Civic, the Soca critic, criticizing Soca, something, it said like that, and then like unapologetic, always truthful, and I was like, oh shit, right?
Damn.
And then his message was, didn't even say hi or hello or like, hey, I'm Warren.
Like,
All
this
he
is
said
who I
was,
am.
yo, you guys coming to Trinidad soon?
Oh, what?
And then I send it to Kendricks, and I'm like, "Yo, Kendricks, this guy named Warren is like asking us if we're going to Trinidad." And then I message him, and I was like, I mean, I don't have anything planned. Like, I was thinking about Carnival, and he's like, "All right, well, it's you guys talking about Soca? That's a cool thing, and I have a lot to say about that." And then I like message him back, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's good, man. We need to have like a benchmark, like blocks." He was like, "Yo, listen," like he messaged me back, and he's like, "Well, like like I was talking to him about that too, actually, but he was warned not to get into it with me." And I was like, "Oh shit, yo!" And then like I started reading the shit that he started posting, right? And
The
then he was-
unapologetic thing was true.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
I like him though because he's like my thing was like with critics. Yo, critics like you have to know like what this person is, like how
Yeah.
they feel, like so like if you look at like phone reviews and this person feels a certain way about phones.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, every phone should have a headphone jack, so you should know that he's gonna
I
obviously
see.
like
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
on phones that don't have headphone jack. But he stays true. When he stays true to his opinion,
Yeah.
he's not a flip flopper.
Yeah.
He doesn't let people buy out his opinion.
Yeah.
And like everything he does comes out for like the love of the music.
That's
at the
cool,
end of
that's
the day.
cool.
That's why I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
this is a person
yeah.
who could fuck with. Because there's
Yeah.
a lot of fake ass.
Yeah,
critics
you could
out
actually
there.
you could actually like trust Warren's opinion.
Like, there's like a lot of even like you don't agree with him or anything, but like you like I can see where he's coming
it's
from.
a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like he doesn't hate.
Yeah.
He just like
he says like the truth, but like sometimes
it
truth,
rubs people wrong.
It can rub people wrong if you're like used to like being like around like a lot of like yes men,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And he's
yeah.
totally not a yes man, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then seeing the way that he like approaches music, I was like, oh wow, this is actually like really interesting because he has like a criteria of like how he judges music.
And he's
Yeah.
like really technical.
Yeah, and
like,
even if he even if he like says to it like talks about an artist and he's like, yo, what they're putting out is like garbage. When they do make something good, or if there was a time in the past that they did make something good, he'll always be like, yo, why isn't this person making things like this?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
yeah.
when
really
this
good.
was really
This
good.
is what I
Right.
think.
You know,
It's constructive.
It's constructive.
constructive,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
constructive. it's not anything like I know we say no baka now, but it's not like someone where it's like, yo, I'm not hating, but yo, fuck this person, and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's like it's totally not like that.
Like
you know?
a backhanded.
It's not like a backhanded thing. It's like always like a really like truthful criticism, and like hearing that.
He's like, you know, honestly, like I know like Soca hasn't have all these platforms yet, but I see him kind of like a Roger Ebert of like Soca, because like you know Roger Ebert, like I watch me like you know like me and Christian were like big into movies, like we watch like all the good movies where there's no more good movies for us to watch anymore.
Yo, can we talk about the oversaturation of superhero movies?
Yeah, well, no, hello, well, so pretty much like, so like the thing is like. Roger Ebert, like you knew where he stood, and he was always fair. There would be movies like that, like everyone would be like, "Yo, this is trash." Like I'm trying to think, there's some fucking classic movies that where everyone said was trash, and he was the only one that said it was good, and ended up being like a freaking classic. I can't remember off top, but that was the kind of person he is. Like he like the way I see like criticism for me personally, when I look at like someone making something, I'll be like okay, so for example, like I Were George made that song. What's that song you made? It's like Take a Bait.
Take a Bait.
Yeah, Take a Bait. And when it first dropped, people were shitting on it. Like, there's no benchmark. This is what you do. You were a legend. This is what you've been giving us. You're wasting a rhythm. Blah blah blah. So for me, when I look at it, I'll be like, okay, because like the way I see music, like if someone says that's music. It's your interpretation. Like, it's like noise music. I think that shit's fucking doo-doo. But if someone thinks like that's music, that's their interpretation as a human. So that's how I see music as a whole. So if someone, like, so I'm looking at it like, yo, what was Iwer's intention with this song? He's trying to make a song for a wet fet, obviously.
Yeah.
And then how well did they execute it? That's how I look at songs.
Right.
So like he's like has his own like genuine approach to like that type of music, and it's consistent. You need consistency, and that like people can't buy you out.
Right,
You know?
yeah. No, I completely agree on that criticism. I mean, on that criticism thing, and then even with on creativity as well. Like, I think that as far as I mean, where we are right now, we make music just kind of for like the love of it, you know. And we don't really have an agenda for like each song. If it's something that we need to, like I said, like. For a while, we were kind of making a certain kind of sound, and then we wanted to do something more aggressive. Yeah. And for a while, we were doing some songs that were kind of aggressive, and then we wanted to get back to more of like a lighter sound. Recently, I kind of made a transition. I had more of like a Latin sound, and then I was like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this doesn't even sound like soca anymore. So then I went back with this last one. I was like, okay, let's go back to soca. And I'm much happier with the end result.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely agree. Yeah,
but something like that, I can see that happening because you guys dabble in just so many different styles. You know what I mean? So that kind of makes sense. You know, I think the way that I look at soca music, because it's just like I think like it's gonna be like
it's gonna be huge.
I think 20 like for now it's gonna be 10 years. I think that this coming this coming week is gonna mark 10 years where I started listening to soca.
Oh yeah,
because I started listening to soca when I was like 14. Like,
so what was that transition for you?
It was weird because before that, like not growing up with Caribbean people. I don't know if I told you guys back, but like when I was like when I was younger,
like, the way we grew up is so different.
Yeah, it's totally different. I grew up with like in the neighborhood Howard Beach, which is like all like Italian American people. Yeah. It's completely white.
So you didn't grow up here?
No.
Oh, okay.
Kendrick was like one of my first Caribbean friends ever.
Woo.
Yeah.
I mean, he lived here, but like going to school with
I didn't go to school. So like if you're going to private school, like my parents like they sent me to they like always wanted me to go to like private school.
Yeah.
Because like my parents being like immigrants, like certain things like they just kind of felt
they try to keep you away from so you
they try to keep you away from like some. For my parents, like one of the things they always wanted to avoid was like public school.
Yeah.
So because they had like
same thing with my parents.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
It's more they don't want you to fall into certain. There's like social traps already here.
Yeah.
You know, like stuff that they already did to black people. So like you probably would fall into that. Or things that they do to minorities.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to fall into those cycles. So they try to do everything to keep you away from it.
Yeah. I think with my parents, I think when they first got here and when they were making the decision to send me to school, I think my parents had this notion in their head where it was like, yo, like their like idea of like success at the time
yeah.
was like, yo, we got to send our kid to like a white school.
Yeah. Bro,
I know we said no bacchanal, but
Yo, you already started a bacchanal.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I don't want to be a Wendy Williams.
Yeah,
Wendy Williams.
Whatever bacchanal I could always cut out.
Girl,
It's
we're like
no big
drinking.
deal.
Yeah, you can just cut it out. But
No,
no,
it's
I
weird
mean,
saying
I
things
think
bad.
it's I think it's true though, because like even for us, I don't know about your family, but my parents are the first ones in their family to go to college. And you know, for me and my brother, you know, we have to like take it a step further.
Yeah.
So for them, they're just kind of like, you know, let's put you in the white Christian schools.
Right.
You know?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that association of
Yeah.
white and success.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what my parents. So I started school at Our Lady of Grace, which is in. It was actually the main like Catholic school in this area was a lot of people go to like OLPH, Our Lady of Perpetual Hope,
It's all the fucking brown
and
people.
it's all the brown people. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And a lot of them went there, and they also had St. Anthony's, which is where Kendricks went.
Yeah, my school was mostly black.
Yeah, but still, it was still like a private school.
It was like black, brown. It was not like
It was a mix.
Yeah,
it was mixed. There was, like, no
OPH was
white
like all
people.
brown. So like all the brown people that I know here today, like most of them went to OPH, and they all grew up with each other.
And a lot of them weren't Catholic.
A lot of them weren't Catholic. Yeah, no, that's the thing. They were all like either Hindu or Muslim.
Yeah, but they don't really force the
They
religion.
don't force it on you. You have
okay.
religion
Like
class.
I don't know,
but,
people
like,
think about like I don't know. I guess because we're in the north.
Yeah.
But like they don't force it on
They
you.
don't force it.
They'll be like, yo, you should challenge your religion. That's the type of like attitude.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yo,
At least in the schools that we
one
went to.
They'll
time?
like teach you about like other religions.
But actually, that's not true really in my school.
Well,
Like,
that was Malloy. I don't know. About
no, not in Malloy. I'm saying
I mean, Malloy they said
Malloy was different.
Malloy they said
But
that,
like at
challenge
least when
your
I was at Our
religion,
Lady of
sure.
Grace, like maybe because I was like the only brown person in my class, but like everybody that I went to school with, they were all white, they were all Italian, they were all Catholic as fuck, like super Catholic, and it was like crazy because like I would like me being like extreme minority, I would just listen or do whatever everybody else did.
Yeah.
But it was like I always knew that I was different. Like I remember my first day of school when I was like 6, I started there and I knew I was different.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand why I was different, but I knew I was different. And then as time went on, like before that, in terms of music, the things that I listened to were just kind of what everybody else listened to. If everybody, and I think like back then was when we had like, it was mostly like hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I really didn't like it. I thought I did, but I really didn't like vibe to it. I couldn't understand or like fully relate to hip hop.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah,
I think it's an amazing genre, and like I like totally respect it. But for whatever reason, growing up, I couldn't really relate to it. I like only just listened to it because everybody else listened to it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to like family events, right? That would be the only time where I would ever hear like Soca or Chutney.
Same.
You know what I
Same,
mean?
actually, yeah.
And there was one tune. It was Do Home Ba. That was like that was the one tune I remember being a kid where my mom would be like, "Yo, when you were a kid." And we were in the car. You would fight with us to just play this song over and over and over again.
Damn, yeah.
And that was the first kind of like Chutney Soca song really that stuck with me. But like for the remaining years, like as I got a little bit older, like when I hit like 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, that was when like the divide started to become like way more apparent, where like race came into the picture, and then like racism was like super apparent.
And 9/11 too.
And yeah, when 9/11 happened, it was crazy.
Because
like,
brown people were off the map, and then they
Yeah,
were
suddenly
target number one.
Yeah.
and I was the only brown kid in like my entire class.
Oh fuck! What was that?
And that was
like
like I was like one of 3 in the entire school.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because my neighbor across the street, she's also Guyanese. She was in the same school with me. She was a girl, and she's like popular, kind of, right? She was
Yeah.
like super artsy, and she was actually like a people person.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was. Maybe she just had different people in her year. But like, even though she was only 1 year ahead of me, the people in her class didn't really like shit on her for being brown.
Yeah.
But like the people in my class did, and they would always call me like fucking like curry eater, and they would always be gonna blow some shit up, and they'd be like,
Yo, it was always
I do eat curry. Yes.
6th grade.
Yeah.
That happened
But-
to me. Yeah.
yeah.
9/11 happened to me in 6th grade, or happened in 6th grade, and there's this one kid. I forget his name. But literally, he was like, "We gotta nuke him." You know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. No, but I remember it wasn't even just the kids. It was even my teachers too, because I remember when 9/11 first happened, like all the teachers, they're all white and Italian.
Yeah. Were they pretty conservative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember being in 4th grade, and I'll never forget, this one fucking teacher, and she was such a bitch, man. Fucking hated her. But anyway, I remember when 9/11 first happened, and, like, they, like, sat us down, like we had like a week off from school, and then they sat us down, because there were, like, bomb threats, and everybody was so paranoid. They didn't want to open schools, they wanted to shut down public transportation, everybody was locked up in their houses, everybody thought, like, World War III was about to erupt any second. And then when I went back to school, she she sat the entire fucking class down, and she sat in the middle of the room on a bench, and she was like, I remember her saying this word for word, She's like those terrorists and those Muslim people, they will what did she say? She's like, they will kill you because it fits their religion, and then they'll celebrate it. And then everybody, we were all just we were 9. Yeah, and we were sitting there just what? And then she just goes, yeah, it's sickening, right? And I was just, yeah.
It's sickening.
Yeah.
Can we go play? Yeah.
And I was just sitting there
the race wars among us.
It's crazy. It's crazy because
choose your side.
And it was crazy. And I just remember just being there, and I was like, oh fuck, right?
I know, everybody's looking at
if people just kind of started looking around, and I was just and it's crazy because it's I'm Catholic. I was baptized when I was a kid, and I've been to Catholic school my entire life.
Yeah.
When it comes to religion, I know everything that every Catholic knows. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and it's even still, even with that, that still wasn't enough to kind of solidify my spot there. So there was that huge divide, and I think that was kind of my association with hip hop, which is why I couldn't really fully integrate with it, because my only association with hip hop was just me trying to fit in with all these white people.
Right, yeah.
When it came to high school now, and then I finally left, and high school was the first time where I'm ever in a school where I finally meet people the same skin color as me, or I'm finally starting to make friends who are people who are black, who are Asian, who are Spanish, who are Trini.
We legit our high school was a white high school, but we had a minority.
No, we had a minority table. We had a minority. We were the only minority table. It was one long ass table.
We had the black area.
Yeah. No, it's true. And we would. I remember, one time, this. I love telling this story. Kendrick's he already knows, So we had the minority table, right? And at the minority table, we would always just share food. But in the beginning, because I was still very white, when I was 14. When I was in white people's school, nobody ever shared food. No, I'm serious.
No, that makes sense.
Nobody would ever share food ever.
Yeah.
And if it was mine, right? And I remember these white kids, when they would get up to go to the bathroom, they would spit all, they would go all over their food so that nobody would take it.
I think it's so funny.
Yeah. No, nobody's gonna touch my shit. Right? And then when I first started Malloy with Kendrick's, the people, they would ask me for my food, and I would be like, no, and they'd ask me to share drinks. I'd be like, no, there's germs and shit. And then as I got older and started to hang out, and I was I just went away, and I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna share with you guys. And then, there was one day, Kendrick's invited the whitest kids.
They just randomly
you didn't tell them to come?
No, they was they wanted to try different sin at different tables.
Oh! So, they had this one, I'll never forget.
But Liam was cool,
this guy, Liam, I was gonna bring up, Liam was actually cool, but he has, it's one thing about Liam, he had the whitest name I've ever heard.
Liam.
His name was Liam Baker. It's the most suburban white name, right? And it was him and this other junior. They came and they sat at the table, and so the way Malloy was with the lunches, they actually had good food. Malloy's one of the few schools that actually had good lunch food. Malloy compared to other schools,
I never really ate lunch.
No, but the lunch was expensive. Now, the white people, they would get lunch special. Lunch special was $8 every day.
They would get that shit every day.
Yeah.
Bro.
So Liam Baker and the other dude, right? Was it Chris Falco? Yeah. I think they both came, right? And they got and they made a mistake because Tuesdays had the best lunch special. It was crab cakes and salad, and it was good.
That's actually good food.
It was good food. Yeah. And they got the crab cakes, they got the salad, they had a side of fries, and it was a whole platter, right? And they came and we were all there, we would have fries or mozzarella sticks. Around that time, I started bringing doubles for lunch. From the roti shop,
that's so cool.
Yeah. Right? And we would all just be there, buying a little bunch of sides, and then we would kind of just all share from each other a little bit. Yeah. Bono would get chicken fingers, and we'd grab chicken fingers. I would get fries, and Christian would get ice cream. You know what I mean? So we would all have a full kind of meal together. But these fucking guys came through, with the fucking platter, right? And then they sat down, and we're all eating, and Kendricks goes, Kendrick's he goes, he rubs his hands together, yo, and yo, he leans over and he's smiling at him, and yo, Kendrick's is like, yo, man, yo, let me
run your shit.
He goes, yo, let me get a fry, bro, right? and the guy goes like, nah, bro, and then like all of us just stop eating.
Just like,
wait, what? Yeah, we all stopped, and we just started looking around, yo, and yo, Kendrick's eyes got so big, yo, he had his hands on the table, and he goes. And then he leans over the table. He's like, "Yo, I don't think you guys understand, but here at the minority table, we share." And we all went in, and we all started grabbing their food. Yo, he got up here. They picked up their tray, their fries flying all over the place, and they ran back to the white people table, son.
Bro, that's like a microcosm of America. Let's get a little taste of this.
They never came back.
We're not coming back.
They wouldn't even walk by, yo.
That's literally
I'll never forget that story.
That's literally like a sample size of like American day-to-day life. Like, let's take let's see what's going on in this ethnic community. Oh, this is too much. Let me go.
No, but like you think about like, because our share, there would be random days where we'd have like crazy lunch where we get like that big ass sandwich and shit, or like pizza and stuff because we all put our stuff together to like. We were like, that's that whole concept. It's like that whole concept, that individualism.
Well, I was gonna say, like that's interesting because, like myself, like I had the same kind of like school upbringing as you did.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the most part, in my house, it's pretty kind of like westernized. I mean, we had like a little bit of the the Trinity culture dashed in here and there, but I primarily got it from my grandmother, my aunt, whenever I visited them. But even to this day, like, I still have to fight it because, like, with my girlfriend, like, she was born in India, Bangalore, India.
Oh, wow.
But she, she left after, I think she was 1. And, she and her family were, basically, it's just her and her parents. And that's how they eat. They share food. So whenever we go out to eat, she's like, okay, what do we want to eat? And then I'm just like, I want to eat this, so like the sharing thing is like even kind of like hard for me sometimes still, because I'm like, we have to think about, all of our,
totally. Yeah. No, yeah, I totally get you. It's like, it's just so funny because the whole sharing thing didn't become a thing until like I started hanging out with like Kendricks and Bronon and Christian.
Yeah.
And like, I remember, Brono might have, I think, he was my first ever, like, Trini friend.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I met him on the first day of school. He came up to me, he just asked me to copy my homework. And,
first day of school.
He literally came up to me, and he goes, hey, he's like, hey, I saw you. He literally came in, I'm not afraid, he's like, hey, I saw you, like, answering questions in class. He's like, you're brown, like, are you like West Indian? He's like, what, are you Trini? And I was like, I didn't even know what Trinidad was yet, to be honest, yo. And I was just like, I was like mad shy in high school. I was like, I'm Guyanese, because I always was so used to getting shit on for being Guyanese.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of hesitant. I was like, I'm Guyanese. He's like, and he was the first person that actually ever said to me, oh shit, like cool, like that's the first time I ever met someone who was like, yo, that's cool. He was like, oh shit, cool, like I'm Trini. So like, I didn't even know what it was. I asked him. I was like, yo, what is it? Like I thought he meant tranny. No, seriously, but I didn't want to judge him, so I didn't ask him until like way later. It was till like a week later. He's like, you don't know what Trinity is, like Trinidad.
You know what Trinity is?
Yeah, and like yo, him introducing me to Trinidad, just opened up Pandora's box, bro. It's just like literally, because then like
literally Pandora's,
Royal Castle.
Yeah, and I think it was because like finding like just like Caribbean culture in high school. It was one of those things, like for Bronon, growing up super Trini, he was just kind of always like, this is like just something my parents did or whatever.
But, so that's kind of like the same thing for me too.
Yeah.
It was like, well, my family's Haitian, so I grew up like, the way I grew up, my mom's side is like super Haitian. My dad's side is so fucking Americanized, you wouldn't know that you think they're African American.
Yeah.
Until like maybe you saw some of the food or like you asked them. So like it's like such a like different like. But my dad, even though he's one of the few like from his family who's even still like speaking Creole, but he's with my mom, so like they be speaking Creole at home all the time. Yeah, and like he loves compa, and like he's blasting it right now at home. I swear he's blasting it right now at home. So that's like what I grew up on, but it was just like I was like the only few. Like, there's not that many Asian people here. There's only like a few. Mostly like it's like brown people. So it's just it's like we're like the few people who like speak this language. And also at the time, people don't understand about Haitian people is that they're constantly shitted on.
Yeah.
They're constantly.
That is true.
They're the most constantly shitted on people, which is so. It's so weird because
even back in college, I remember that.
They're like the only ones who freed themselves, so it's kind of like a weird thing. Like you would think with all this, like suffering
praised.
and shit, people like this would be like a symbolic thing of victory. But then when you look at the history of how they manipulate black people, it makes sense why they shit on us.
But just as a side note, like not like the freeing yourself aspect too, but like. Also, one other thing I realized with Haitian people are like, yo, they're some of like the nicest people I've ever met, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like when it comes to
hotel,
business, like I remember when I was at the swap shop in Fort Lauderdale, like I was like, it's like this like it's like a flea market.
Yeah.
And they have mostly Caribbean people. It's like Jamaican people, Haitian people, Trinidadian people,
like,
Guyanese people,
I have a Jamaican uncle who lives in
and they have
Fort
Dominican
Lauderdale.
people. Yeah, so like, and I remember I was shopping around for a phone case, and like I remember to like I could just like tell when I would go to Jamaican business that I was getting G.
Yeah.
I'd be
Straight
like,
up,
yo, how much for this phone case? And they'd be like, yo, $40. And it'd be like a cheap ass thing that you would break.
Yeah.
And then like I went around to all the businesses, and I remember when I went around to like the Haitian dude, he was like, you could tell like he was like fresh, like
my flag.
Yeah, exactly, like and like I already knew Kendrick.
That's
so
the thing.
like
My family doesn't even speak like that, so I can't do a Haitian accent.
Yeah, this dude was like really, really Asian, right?
Yeah.
And he gave me like the best deal. He was like, yo, I'll give you all of this. He's like, I'll give you this for $20. And he's like, I come with the screen protector. And the screen protector. And he's like, I'll give you the rag. And I'm just like, and he hooked it up. And then I was like talking to him for a while. And I was like, yeah, my family, like they own the swap shop over. And he was like so nice. And I'm like when every time Kendrick tells me that about like Haitian people being shit on, like I just it blows my mind every time because I'm just like, yo, like the people are so like nice.
No,
bro.
well, they just now became cool.
Well, you know what? Like
But
growing up, I've heard a lot of random things, like stupid remarks, like about like, because I mean, for the most part, a lot of those like English-speaking countries in the Caribbean, many like I know a lot of them are heavily Christian or Catholic. So a lot of people would just say like the stupid like go to like the voodoo thing.
But Haiti is a Christian nation.
It is, yeah.
They're most people are Catholic there.
Yeah. But I think that's like the ignorance that comes from.
But that's where then it goes back to the whole conversation we have about narrative, and it's the white man's narrative, and they make you think voodoo is this evil relation,
even with like Santeria in Cuba.
They're all the same thing. They're all like these traditional religions.
From, like, West Africa.
From Africa, and then. White people, that trigonometry 180 degrees, Richie, we gotta get that book, man.
I know,
it's
we really
so
do.
powerful.
But then we gotta get the technology.
They don't know about technology?
To open up Dr. Yakub's story is that's a whole other like 3
You ever
hour
see like
podcast.
you ever see
I'm gonna send you guys the YouTube video though.
Okay, cool.
You ever see like the black Israelites standing outside?
This could be another 3 hours.
That's right.
Wait, did I send you guys? I sent one of you guys a video of what's his name? Sour Suit and Seti.
Oh yeah,
that guy. He's so backed
you
up.
You gotta see the ones from San Francisco.
Yo, those ones are the craziest and funniest ones.
Have you seen like the debates that they have? Like,
when they're like arguing on the streets.
He made this white lady cry on the street.
You fucking eat a bite.
Eat a bite,
Yeah, she'd be like, don't worry, I have faith in God, he'll protect me. He'll like, I'm gonna make you my fucking concubine. Well, your God gonna be dead.
You see this guy right here? You see he's like pointing like a black Jesus. You see this guy? He's gonna come back, he's gonna put you all to death.
And then you're like, we're about to fucking put a curse on this bitch. Hustle up, wash your pot. Yeah, he said, hustle up, wash your pot.
Yo, remember Mishpat?
Yo, Taylor, I don't know if I ever told you, but ever since Kendricks and I became friends, like we have a friend, we have like our like close friends. Me, Kendricks, Christian, and Brana, and we like,
and then like Carlos,
yeah, and like, but like, so each of us kind of have our own thing.
Yeah.
When me and Brandon come out, like I bring out like all the Trini shit and Brandon.
Yeah.
Yo, when me and Christian hang out, we'd do our own thing. We like play video games, talk about a lot of really dope shit.
Yeah.
And when me and Kendricks hang out, like, we don't even look for these things. But literally every time we hang out, crazy,
Like the weirdest
random,
situation.
weirdest things just happen to us.
Same thing with us, bro.
Yo, but it doesn't happen to me and Christian. It doesn't happen to me and Braun. Yo, it like literally only happens when I'm with him, yo. And yo, there was one time we were in the city. I don't even know what we were doing. Oh, we were at my school, and when we first started university, and we were in our first year of college or whatever. We were like, I brought him to my school because I was like, I don't really know anybody. I want Kendrick to come through, like playing like video games and like. And then we were about to take the train ride, like to come back here, and it's fucking winter and it's so cold, bro. Yeah. And yo, we see this it's like a 1950s bus.
Yeah,
It was parked by Times Square.
Yeah, it was parked like by Times Square, and there was like a sign in the front that said like "Come in."
Yeah, they had like free tea and cookies.
Yeah, they had
it was like the perfect hippie pedophile.
It was like literally, but it was like a safe haven in like the cold winter. Yeah. Oh, and we also went to check out the record store too. That's why. Yeah, because Kendrick loves records. So we went to the record store. And we came out and we see this bus, so we go inside, right? And like I'm like, hello, and they're like, hey guys, and we're like, oh, can we come in? And they're like, yeah, come on in. Like, you guys want some tea, cookies, and we spent like 4 hours in this bus, So listen, we go inside, and like we sit down and they give us like a little bus, and it's mad nice.
Yeah,
it's like they refurbished the bus, they put everything all wood, they put like cushioned seats. It was like really tribal.
Yeah,
and like white tribal.
Yeah.
Not like Caribbean, but like white tribal. And they had like they give us like little like knit blankets and shit, and they're giving us like tea and cookies. Yeah, they made cookies, homemade hipster cookies, right? And they're like super hippie, right?
And we're just chilling,
and we're just sitting there,
like walking in.
Yeah, random people who are just coming into the bus,
like checking it out, like
what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, and like people are coming in, and we spent like 4 hours talking to these people about
like
everything. We're talking to them about like God. We're talking about art. Kendrick's talking to them about music. I think I mentioned Soca. And after talking to these people for so long, 4 hours later, we finally say like, by the way, like, what are you guys' names, right? We were talking to this one white dude, he was literally like this the whole time.
Yeah, he looked high. You look high, bro.
There's always that one. Yeah.
But he was like such a good conversation with us. Like he actually sat down with us for 4 hours, and they had another dude who was just all about God.
We were like, so what do you think about this? Like, yeah, but God, God is just like amazing. And
I'll never forget. He said this one line. He's like, the idea about God is that God is sublime. And then he's like, do you know what sublime means? I actually didn't know what it means. I didn't know what it meant. And he was like, sublime means that like it's something that you can't really say it's good or bad or it's just something sublime.
And he's talking about like Michelangelo.
Yeah, it's like Michelangelo. You can't really put his art into words, right? It's just sublime. He was so passionate about this word. And then like this girl came on who was like, she was like from Romania.
Yeah, she was like an artist.
She was an artist from Romania.
Pixar. She was like an artist for like Pixar.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I was kind of flirting with her.
Yeah.
I forgot to flirt with her.
Get that Pixar money.
Kendrick's doing good though, Yeah, he was talking to her about mad different, and Kendrick's like was mad knowledgeable. He's like talking to her about like Pixar and shit. He's like, what kind of art you into? And it's like a cartoon, So like, imagine Kendrick's is here, the girl is here, and this is the dude talking about God. So they're talking, and he's like, what kind of art are you into? And the guy just goes, God.
Imagine you flirt with a girl.
God. You guys think about God, right? So so now at the very end, I finally asked them their names. Yeah. Now the dude who was super stoned, I'm like, what's your? So like, we were keeping a straight face the whole time, we finally asked, and that's when we lost our composure. I'm like, so by the way, like, what are you guys' names, right? Because they were like, we want you guys to do a documentary with us. We're like, doing They had like a
they lived in like a little like combine.
They had like they had like a
where they like it was like some communist thing where everyone like helped in the community.
And they're based out in the city?
No, they're like upstate.
They're like upstate or something.
Where everyone like helps in the community.
Yeah.
They kind of make their own society.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And they're like driving around.
Yeah, they just drive around the country in this bus and just talk to people.
The peace train.
So so they finally asked him, I'm like, what's your name? And the guy goes, the dude, the high dude goes, my name's Mishpat. And me and Candace just look at each other. And we're like, I went, wait, what? Did you say Michael?
Michael?
And, yeah. And he's like, no, my name's Mishpat.
And the other guy was like Ezekiel.
No, the other guy, one guy was Ezekiel. And then, the dude who was the god, I'm like, what's your name? He's like, my name's Gomorrah. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, like the two cities that got destroyed by God. He's like, my name's Gomorrah.
Out of all the cities,
the funny is like they were giving us milk, like no, they were like cookies and tea.
Yeah.
And Richie asked for a refill of tea, and he's drinking it. He's like, yo, I think they pissed in this tea.
Yeah, I literally told because the way she gave me the tea, it was and she was like, here's your tea, and like she gave me, like her eyes were so big, and I was just like,
he was drinking like, yo,
I'm like, I like, you know when someone just has like a weird taste.
Yeah, like I think she pissed.
And I was like, and Candace leans over and like I was just joking.
Yeah.
But Candace goes, yo, that's why I didn't fucking ask for a refill. And these fucking white people would fucking pissing my tea, to try to keep it warm somehow. Yo, and I was just like, and the way she made it was so shady too, because she had like this cloak on.
It's always a cloak.
Yeah, and then she made it, and then she went, and then she like covered like, and then she was like.
Here's something.
And I'm just like, oh shit. But like, like all those little like weird shit like that. It started with just like that, but then other times it would happen with Caribbean people too. For the time I remember when I got a fake ID while I was in college, and we went to like our first ever Caribbean bar. And the Trinity dude.
Wait, are you like we're going to Splash before we went to Splash?
Splash is on another level, we got
his cousin Matthew's like one of the most hilarious.
He's on. I got introduced to my cousin Matthew, bro.
Yeah.
I got he's so. There's a time we would go to this bar, and there's a Trinity dude playing pool, and me and Kendrick we're just standing, like the pool table's here, and we're just standing up here, like drinking Caribbean shit, and this guy was dogging at pool,
But like the more like drug he gets, the
better
he gets, And it
like
got to a point.
Spinach.
And it got to a point where he's making fire shots.
He just comes out after each shot. He comes out and just talks.
Me and
to us
him.
only.
There's people in the
we
bar.
Never spoke to him, but he comes up to us only. He's like, hey, boy. And he's just like,
I couldn't understand him. He goes, hey boy, you see the ball? And then literally. I don't know if he was speaking like really bush Trini or what it was.
He just immediately turns to Cowardly Dog.
Me and Kevin was like, we had our beers, and we were like, yeah. And then he'd be like, but like you could tell what he's saying on his body language, because he'd be like, and then he would go, and right when he's about to take a shot, he would go,
and then he hits it, and he gets like the craziest shot.
And then he would turn around, and he would hold the pulse thing. He was like this, and like you could tell what he was saying, like when he was he was clearly saying, yo, I told you so. And then he put one hand on our shoulder and took a beer and he cheers. He was like,
this bar was so funny because we're our friend Christian. He doesn't really he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
And like we're just sitting there drinking it, and then this tree guy goes like, yo, why everybody? You're not drinking. And he's like, no, I don't drink. And he just looks at him. He's like. He just puts his beer on front of him.
And then Christian goes, no, I don't drink. And the guy brings the bottle back, and then he just puts it down in front of him. And like little experiences like that, little experiences like that is like what made me just take so much more pride.
You start seeing
and being Korean, because like we started seeing it,
because before it was just like the norm.
Exactly.
Like honestly, because like for like me and Brana, like. We grew up in like somewhat of a Caribbean environment. And Richie, like, he only had it during family events, but mostly it'd be like in high school. But so he was like, when in high school, he was like refinding.
When
like,
I found
all
it,
the, like,
I realized how
he
dope
was becoming like passionate.
Yeah,
that's how I.
And then, like
at
the time, like it was just like for me and Brana, it was just like. I don't know. This is just like it's just what we do. Like this is what we eat. This is just our thing. Other people don't do that. But then Rich is like, no, this is so dope, guys.
I know exactly what you mean. How fucking dope this is.
He's just pushing it, and like slowly, like it's just like radiated onto us. Like he would say the most random things. Like, hey guys, you ever go on YouTube, type in Tasa, and click on the second video?
I was so
sick. On the straight face.
I was so sick because I would just be so bored. And like, I would like see people whining crying, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this is dope,
Yo,
bro.
we gotta put that video on IG,
Yo, I would go and I would talk to them because it was like a normal conversation. It'd be like, yeah, like, yo, you guys ever seen this funny video or this funny video? Like in high school, just look up funny videos.
Yeah.
And then
like,
yo,
YouTube was like just
that was
popping.
so like crazy shit was coming on YouTube, and then we were all sharing funny videos,
Anime music videos.
And when
the
it got to my turn, my thing was so you guys ever go on like YouTube, type in Tasa and click on like the 4th video?
Yo, I used to
and
say shit like that.
they all turned and looked at me and they were just like, what? No, what the fuck? And then I showed him it,
Yeah.
and it's a dude dancing Tasa and just like a split,
Yeah.
and then we're just like, yo,
Like,
and
like slowly over time.
it's like,
kinda
so like little things like that is, and then all of that culminated in the Soca analysts.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of like everything like led to
Kinda
that
like
point.
snowball.
Everything,
eventually.
everything is
Yeah.
kind of snowballed and built, and I can imagine like with humans of the Caribbean diaspora.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
something.
No, same shit. I mean, literally, like, for the longest time, for me, I think I have probably had a similar upbringing to you in the sense that, like, Trinity culture was, like, over here. And the Trinity culture that I was exposed to was very limited in scope, you know? It wasn't, like, that much. And I noticed that my cousin, her name is Sasha. Shout out to Sasha. Caribbean Slides. Gets Caribbean Slides. Add him on Instagram.
Big up on the Soca analysts.
What are they
But,
called? Caribbean slides?
Caribbean Slides. They're,
They sell sandals and shit.
yeah, so she sells sandals. So
What? That's dope.
with, like,
So if you
but,
need
like,
if you need a sandal to beat your kid's ass,
yeah, bitch,
it's a nice firmness to it.
but it has the flag on where you come from.
There's an imprint on your country's flag.
You come from.
Very aerodynamic. If you need your tossing,
Literally.
boomerang action features.
Exactly.
if you need to throw that shit around the corner like Wanted when they're running away.
It has a pre-smack function so that you can hit your kids before they even do anything bad.
Like they're just in school and it just flies in.
It flies into the window and then comes back out. Oh man!
But
yeah.
What do you do that for? He's going. What do you do that for?
Oh man!
But she is the daughter of my aunt. So my aunt, like I said, she was heavy into Caribbean culture even to this day. Like they just came up here for Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And you know, she was always into it, but then recently I noticed that she's been going to like a lot of fetes and stuff like that.
Shit.
And then not even just that, but she's been into like a lot of the culture and stuff. So I'm like, all right, this is really cool. And then I started like getting really into it. I went to Trinidad for the first time last year for
Life-changing.
Carnival.
Life changing.
Crazy, because like the whole my whole MO going there was like, okay, I want to go because I want to see family that I never saw. I want to go to the places that my mom grew up, that my brother hasn't been to, like no one in my family, immediate family, has ever been to. My mom hasn't been back since like '99.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I was and no one really thought that her kids would ever come back to Trinidad.
Yeah,
So like literally, I went one time and visited a family member, and the dude. And I was with my grandfather. My grandfather was like, "Yeah, this is Simone's son," and the dude just like looked at me like he was like looking at a ghost. He was like, "Yeah, like, I'm like what?" You know, like
Did they accept you as Trini or like how did they look at you?
yeah, this one dude was just like, "Yeah, you look Trini," and I was like,
No, but
all
like-
right.
That's like a thing though. Like when like people from the diaspora go back, sometimes they don't like. They're
Sometimes
like,
they're not fully. Yeah.
They don't like.
Well, I
really
think for
fully
me,
accept
like,
them or
I'm always, whenever, even with this, still with the Caribbean, he was the Caribbean diaspora, I always feel like I don't belong. Like even with other things that I do, I always feel like I don't belong. So like I always put
don't
myself.
belong in what way?
I think it's like one of those kind of like, cause like my mother's from Trinidad, my father's from Baltimore, you know. But I feel like I'm both, you know.
Wait, do you do it too, Daniel, or like you involved with, or is that just mainly Taylor's project?
For what?
For humans. Yeah, for humans.
Yeah. I'm involved.
Yeah.
But like, see, because like the thing is like.
But it,
We know like his whole story where he has the whole Caribbean, African American, mixture.
So you're saying like where do I?
Where do you like?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do this, or like what makes you like drawn to doing this? Or
It's kind of like an extension from the music.
So
It's almost
cool.
kind of like a
Everything's from
natural
the
extension
music.
from the music. Like,
Yeah.
like you have the song, and then HOTCD posts with the interviews and the actual culture is just like naturally fitting with the music. So
you put like all
and
your
someone's like,
songs in
why
and stuff.
wouldn't I go do this thing? That sort of
because it
boosts
like
the other music.
I don't know. For me, it seems like really like Caribbean focus, and like you being here, like is there like any like. Because I would expect, like, was there, like, a funk focus or anything, like, from your side that influenced onto that? Because, like, me personally, me growing up, like, when I would play, like Mad Compa, and, like, I also like a lot of, like, 80s, like, funk music, and, like, all that disco shit. Like, I love that music.
Yeah.
So I love all that Black Barbecue, like, music.
Black Barbecue.
I love that music.
Isley Brothers.
Yeah, all that stuff. Like, I listen like crazy. So I listen to that, you know, that compa, and then there's like hip hop, which is like my everything.
Yeah.
Like that was like the first genre. Like, but like for you, like how does that like translate over into like humans of the Caribbean? Because you know, it first started out with like humans of New York, and I'm about to hit the hipster, stick my pinky out when I drink the rum.
Yeah.
You know, I started following really early when he only had like 1,000 followers on like Facebook. You know, back when I used to use Facebook. So it's just dropping that on you guys right now. So what happened with that? Like, did you see that? Or, like, yo, I gotta do this for Caribbean people, or like, well, like, how did your whole?
I heard of the Humans of New York thing. I think before we even started the. Luckily, no one saw that.
You had to animate recover. So no, you gotta do it right. Oh man.
But before we even started the HOTCD thing, I'd seen like
HOTCD.
Humans of the Caribbean.
Oh, I was just like, I thought you were like, yo, you sounded CDs
That's always
like, hey, my HOTCD, HOTCD with the hot
you guys like the people in the roti shop, the dirty people in the roti shop.
No, hold on. Before, just quick pause. We went to this thing at Smoky Park on Saturday.
Smoky's on Brown. We both just looked at each other like, they went to Smoky. They went to like the Brown. Like everyone smokes weed.
Yeah, that's why they call it Smoky Park.
Oh, is that what they call it, Smoky Park?
Yeah.
Because like, we put it into Google and like we can't find Smoky Park.
Yeah, Smoky Park. Everybody smokes weed and plays handball and basketball and sells drugs, yo.
Oh, okay, so that makes sense now.
Yeah.
But like
I'm
literally,
going to Richmond Hill High School.
Yeah, it's so true.
but literally, there's a performance, and after that, they're like, "Yeah, we're selling CDs over here." Everybody starts because I was like thinking to myself, was like, every time I've heard that in any other situation, no one goes.
No, but that's like the whole.
So then literally, like the whole crowd goes over and gets these like random like chutty CDs.
But it's like that's like the whole Caribbean thing, like where we talk about like Raid Out, why Raid Out's so like I don't know. I feel like the people in the Caribbean, like Trinidad, where Andre and them are based, they probably don't see the value immediately. But like, I listened to, I think they did a podcast with like POC Report or something like that, and like how all the Korean people responded immediately when they heard it because we understand that struggle. We understand like, yo, we don't have access to his music. It's not like we're turning on the radio and hearing our songs.
Yeah,
so we have to go out of our way to get our music, and if you don't, you're just gonna just throw the culture behind. So it's like an event. It's like it's an action that we do to like get our music. And it's funny because we were talking to Jal, and Jal was saying like some people buy like mix CDs of his, and they're not supposed to be selling it, but they're like, fuck it, they're gonna sell it. No, because like one thing like Jal does like opposed from like a lot of Soca DJs, he's like we tell you like he's on Soca everything. He's like a big Soca like advocate. That's why he does like a Vinci mix. He does a Bayesian mix, there's a Grenada mix. He's working hard. He's one of the few DJs who's working hard.
He's put me onto so many songs from like this past from Spice Mat, like crazy. So like it's pretty much like him. He works hard, and Close Connections, another DJ in New York who works like there's actually they're a duo, but like they work really hard, like putting all these mixes out. And his thing is like, yo, he's trying to push all these other Soca like islands is not like coming forward. So like that's apparently the thing too.
His like his Vinci mixes are really popular in St. Vincent.
Oh,
like that's the thing. It's like even like him right now, like New York, he's trying to grow more in New York, but he's more popular like outside of New York than like in New York. But it's because of like the work that he does to like push out all these other people's things. Because even like for me, for example, like we both like we listen to a lot of Soca mixes. We listen to a lot of mixes in general, and like I'm trying to look for like Antigua mixes. Antigua Soca. There's not really a lot of that stuff out there. So like that's what he does. But like with the whole mix CD thing is like that's like like I don't know if you're a fan. Well, Did your family listen to mixed CDs? Because I know you're Trini.
Well, I would say my aunt has
Did they have
random
the
like
Soca
dance
Gold?
hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because my aunt, she was really into like Jamaican culture. Her ex-husband is Jamaican.
Yeah.
But she's like really heavy into Jamaican stuff.
But like, what about like like that, like the Soca Gold and stuff like that?
I would find random CDs like that. Like in the early 2000s in their house, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're just
do they
all
have, like,
on
albums,
like Team
or?
Soca and like
Oh,
they're all on
like
Tune In Radio, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, they don't really have the CDs, like the physical CDs.
Oh, so they're not still. Because like I remember like in the YouTube, the Soca Stats video which Richie made was like,
yo, that shit was dope.
First of all, like,
like, yo, funny story about that
that's
video.
like one of the most that's probably the most effective video.
I made that while at my day job because everybody was at Vegas for like their convention.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to do at work.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, fuck it, man. I might as well get paid to do Soca analyst
Right,
shit.
yeah, finally.
So I'm like there on my yo, I have
charger.
Oh yeah, I gotta get my charger. So I had like 4 monitors at work, and I'm just working on my little laptop, at my desk, and I was just like, because actually the way that started was with a Snapchat thing. I was bored at work, and I just was like, oh, Google keeps track of trends, and I did it on Snapchat, and I was like, I want to make it more formal.
Right.
But no, just going back to the whole thing of people being more popular outside. I realize it's like I noticed it like with DJs, like in terms of like DJ Gel, and also like I was talking to like DJ Loverboy last night too, and his like because he had a lot of fans coming up to him too, and he was like, yo, I did not expect to have like fans like that, but. He was also saying, he was like, yo, I feel like so many times I get love, so much more love from people who were like further away than like from the people in my own community.
Yeah.
You know
Yo,
what
Baltimore, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I kind of get it. You know what I mean? It's like it's a really, really interesting, kind of like phenomenon. I don't know why that is, but
yo, I think that's kind of similar to what we're doing right now with the documentary. Like literally I noticed that when I first touched down on Liberty Avenue, Richmond Hill,
Touchdown,
Shell down.
Yeah,
That was in my head too.
Yeah. But no, literally, like, I felt like this sense of like home, like I've never been in experience. Like literally, I felt like I was back in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Like turned down Liberty Avenue. I only saw like Indian people. Smelled curry, heard Soca,
and like
you know what I mean? Fish World.
And,
no, like
who's the
literally
other people? The religious people.
Oh, the Hare Krishnas people.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
the Hare Krishnas.
Dude, that was
they're
really
around
good.
there?
Yeah, they stayed.
That was a really good video when we came out the. Did you see that video on Instagram where we come out the subway?
Yeah,
and
coming down the stairs.
And like he's coming down the stairs, and you just hear fast one, fast one, fast one. And
then right next to it,
you hear the Hare Krishna like.
It
just represented like. The
mix.
Community. That's why I was like, yo, Richie, like, record this.
Yeah.
Because, like, my phone's shitty, so I was like, yo, Richie, record this.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, yo, everything's content, Richie. Everything's content. I can tell everything's content. Post, man. But, like, yeah, so he did it. I was like, we put it on, and I was like, yo, this kind of, like, represents this community. But,
exactly. And it's crazy. It's just like, when we've talked to people here, the common thing that I've noticed is that, and it might just be the fact that people have just grown up in this area, they don't really see it as anything special because they've grown up into it. But like being from Baltimore and like typing in these things and finding like things through Facebook on the internet, like, yo, there's a Indo-Caribbean Alliance. There's like literally a community, a nonprofit for this specific group in the Caribbean. Here in this place in New York, and then there are like other community groups like doing the same thing. Like I was just like,
so easy.
I was like, what is this? What is this like Wonderland? So like, so we like drove up.
If you had told me that something like that, if you had told me that like before, 3 years ago,
I wouldn't even like.
I would have just been like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, because like honestly,
you know
before doing the Soca Alice, like. I didn't really care, but then like talking to you on Twitter, I was like, "Yo, this motherfucker's in the desert," and like hearing how like
exactly.
But then like hearing how, like our friend like Rondon, like he moved down, he lives in Dallas right now. And like he's like, "You're Trinity in Dallas," and you're like, "What the fuck is Trinity?"
Even for us in China, like you know what I mean,
you
like
don't know what it is.
I didn't realize how much I would miss.
And there's like
hearing soca music or hearing like Atasa outside or hearing cars.
I've never heard that before in my life, by the way.
No, but like,
it's weird.
It's just like, yo, it's a desert, and then like we realized that like, yo, we have like all this like shit here. Yeah. And that's when we were just like, all right, man, we're doing the Soca analyst. We got to get like more active. That's why like we've been going to the there's a Caribbean Cultural Center in Harlem for like, well, they say for African diaspora, but they do everything. And
is that the thing? I think I've seen.
it's like CC. Yeah, no, you've probably seen a couple of posts. Like the first one I did, I went to like a bomba plena event, which is like a Puerto Rican like African.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's like a dancing thing, right?
Yeah, so like you probably saw I posted that on IG when I went, and like yo, these people are, bro, these guys are. This is probably one of the still, like, no lie, one of the best live performances on my life. I gotta look at what they're called. I think it was like Los Planas, something. But like, yo, like greatest live performance I ever seen in my life. And I'm sitting here at the end, like they're giving out their card. I was like, yo, this shit way too good to be free, my guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why?
And he was laughing. I was like, yo, I'm dead ass. But like, I guess they kind of already know. Like, one of the girls, she follows us on like Instagram. But it's like, cause like I'm always like advocating their shit. And it's like, yo, this stuff is like right here. And I just keep thinking, I'm like, for me, I'm like, yo, Taylor is in a fucking like desert right now. And like us, we just have to go like around the corner and like the shit is here.
And I think it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, if it's around you, you know, you probably don't really think twice about it.
Yeah.
And when it's not around you, you're just like, well, first of all, you might even think it exists, and then when you find that it does exist somewhere, you will drive 3.5 hours to get to it. You know.
Yeah, but like, it was funny because like, so that was like the first time I went there because like. So, you know, we have like a Trello page, and that's where, you know, we write all our ideas, blah, blah. And I was looking like for organizations. That's how I found them, because they were like the first organization that like really looked like they were doing shit like all the time. So that was the first event that I went there to. And then the second time we went there, I told Richie about it. I was like, yo, man, I really want to go to this event. I've been telling him for a long time. Like, they're doing like this. It's actually still going on. It's like this limited space. It's an art like exhibit for Guyanese like artists. And so it was just like, just strictly like artists from like Guyana and shit. And I was like, yo, Richie, we gotta go to this. Like, Richie, you wanna go to this? And he's like, all right, cool. So then we ended up like, he did like a photo shoot and some shit. And then he came after and we went to it. And then like Richie himself, you know, being Guyanese, he's like, yo, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this for my people.
It was literally the first time.
And it like not even
I was mind blown, bro.
and like not even
so.
And there was like these really dope artists, and not even that, because like one thing like Guyana has, you probably hear Richie talks about it, there's like this identity crisis. Like, well, no, not identity, but there's like an identity issue.
It's a big problem because, and that's the one thing I'm so happy that like the major art pieces reflected. Where
what's his name? Oh, we should.
I know, I have
his card.
I have it. Yeah. Richard. Mason Richards.
Yeah, Mason Richards. He's actually a protege of Ava DuVernay.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
I saw you. You guys had a video of him on your IG.
Yeah, like you know Ava DuVernay. She's my mentor. And we're just like, oh, okay. Oh, I was like, okay, like flex, like whatever. But like he's making a movie, and he's making a movie about like the seawall.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Richard Ray could speak more on this the seawall.
Yeah, there's a seawall. So it's interesting because like the seawall in Guyana, it's like a kind of like a wall they built that just it's along the sea.
Yeah.
And people just look out and it's just the ocean.
Right.
And nobody knows really in Guyana, especially like if you don't get the chance to go to school, which a lot of people don't do, or don't have the chance to. People just don't know what's beyond the water. You just look out at the horizon and there's this wall. It's like a wall here and then the water. And you could sit on the wall and you could look out and just kind of like ponder about like what's in the horizon.
Their name Plenaire. I don't know how to say that. How do you say that?
Los Pleneros.
21 or something like that.
Do I follow them?
Yeah, you're following.
Oh yeah. Okay,
like,
cool.
Probably because I posted it on.
Yeah, it must have been a while back.
But like, these guys, like at the end when they were playing, they were all doing solos and like. Oh my fucking god, the dude is so nasty. If my phone didn't have enough storage, I can't record all of it. Yo, these guys are they're so fucking good. Man. Like I was just like, yo.
And what kind of music was it? Was it
it's
Puerto Rican or
it's Puerto Rican.
Yeah,
but it's like the Afro like
the Afro
Afro-Caribbean.
Have you heard of what was that band? You know those twin sisters? They're Cuban.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is their name?
I don't know, man. Like the whole like I feel like the whole like. Okay, so like our thing with the Soca analysts, you know, we try to like big up a lot of other like Caribbean stuff because a lot of times, let's be honest, it's mostly Anglo Island. Island. So that's why like remember you put the post up are Dominicans like Caribbean or West Indian.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like, yo, no one like it's like the obvious answer is like. yes, they are.
Yeah.
But it's like,
But
no.
it's interesting seeing what the responses are.
Yeah,
how
because
people
some people are like,
think.
no, because it's like, the language, but then there's, the colonizers, how they affected them and things of that nature. But it's like, like, everyone's like Caribbean.
Yeah.
But like, it's like the Afro, like,
There's so many like splits, and it's interesting now because like I don't know. At least for the Caribbean, I don't know if it's maybe somebody who studies this more would have a better idea. But would you say it's good that at least for soca right now, at least last year, there's a lot of talk about like Afro soca, and then you have like chutney soca that already preceded it 20 years ago. But then when it came out, Lord, was it Lord Shorty?
like Kitchener or Lord Russ Shorty or
Russ Shorty. He created soca, and he literally said that he wanted to create a genre
like a
that
combo
represented
of
everything
Indian
in
and
the
African.
island. Yeah, the African.
It was
and the
like Indian and African, yeah.
So what's the point of calling it Afro soca or
Well,
chutney soca?
okay, so for me, it's like, okay, with the Afro soca thing, it really is like a reconnection of the diaspora. And pretty much diaspora being Africa and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And like one thing you probably seen me like tweet a lot about or like say a lot like on podcasts and things like I want to see like first of all the diaspora needs to reconnect because they're being like played by like everyone. Like on a global standpoint, they're being played by everyone. Like every country, like the stepping stone for becoming a developing country to a developed nation is like. You shit on the black people and take their resources. Whoever's below the equator, we gotta start shitting on them. Because like that's one of the weird phenomena where people below the equator are like they're poorer than the people like above the equator. Yeah, the people below the equator have all the natural resources. And fucking economics.
We've talked about the Congo before.
Yeah, and it's just like economics say like if you have natural resources, you should be running shit. And meanwhile, this fucking rainy island up north called the fucking UK has all the money. And all they have is fucking cold and like grime music.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like. Did you see that video, MC Quakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, Afro soca is a reconnection of the diaspora, and I want to see that. And my thing, like me and Richio said, like, how can we get like the African American side to connect with the African side? Because like
that's a huge.
The thing is, but the thing is. A lot of times when they're arguing, like, it's, like, wild stupid. Because they're arguing over false narratives, in my opinion. It's, like, stuff that is not even true. It's stuff like white people said about this group of people. How, like, African-Americans here are all thugs. So when you come to this country, you're just going to assume they're all thugs if you come from, like, Nigeria and shit.
Right.
And then, vice versa, pretty much. But I want, like, this reconnection of the African diaspora so they, like... Because, like, for me, Pan-Africanism is not, like, a go-back to African movement. It's more of, like, we are, the same people, same plight. We have to connect and form as one.
Yeah.
But, like, I see that happening through the music. But I want to see now the African-American, like, probably... I feel like the ones in, like, UK and stuff are probably more receptive to that, to, like, come together with that. And I feel like music is a thing, because, like, that's something that's really, like, a lot of cultures do music, but it's something that's really special to, like...
Oh, yeah.
African people. Like, the one thing I'll say, like, one thing if you notice, like, for my travels and looking around... People from Africa, they're probably like the most expressive people. Even their narrative is weird because like they're hated, but people also think they're really cool because like, they're so expressive and fun. But also, you're a piece of shit. Right. But like, you're like so cool. But I hate you. I hate you. But like, I love your dance moves. Dance for me, you piece of shit, Mr. Poo Poo, Mr. Popo. What's Mr. Popo? No, what's the doo-doo from Mr. Hanky? Mr. Hanky. Fucking Mr. Hanky.
At first I'm talking about eat the poo-poo.
Eat the poo-poo. But like, no, that's really our narrative. So it's like such a weird like dichotomy.
But now that you said that, because I was thinking as you're saying that, you have like the African and then the African American thing, not really coming together. But then I was thinking like, well, do West African and East African people?
Yeah, they also. My thing is like, the way I look at it, like I was thinking of like I always tell you about like the Berlin Conference. You always hear me saying that shit because like first of all, race was not a thing, man. It's because white people control the world. It's the only reason why we're thinking of race.
Yeah,
Before we used to just think of like ethnicities. I'm this group, you're that group.
Right.
You're
or like the haves or the have-nots.
I'm Sicilian, you're wherever the fuck you are. Fucking Roma or whatever. So that's how they thought. But then when they was like conquering the world, we're like, yo, we gotta push some of these differences aside so then we can conquer the shit and then we can argue after we conquered the shit. And so it's like that's when the race thing came into play. Like we didn't think in that like those terminologies. So it's just like, yo, like we gotta understand, like, yo, we're not gonna completely get along. It's not about completely getting along. It's more about like, yo, this is where we are in the world.
Yeah.
Even though like, we have this difference and that difference, at the end of the day, you're black, you may be Muslim, you may be Christian, you may be Jewish, whatever. But we have like this plight, and then like afterwards, then we can deal with it. That's pretty much what the Berlin Conference was, because all those European countries were beefing. France and England were fighting like all the fucking time. But they came together and be like, all right, this is the African cake. This is what they called you people, fucking cake. And now that we have steamboats to go up your rivers, now we can fuck your shit up. Before you guys didn't care about diamonds because the shit was just in your backyard. You would just like play soccer with the thing.
Yo, but
now it's like.
But I guess that's kind of like what we're talking about. Like what you just said, diamonds were in their backyard. They didn't really care about it, but outsiders saw what it was.
No, my thing is like, because like I feel like everyone pushes this narrative of like the way the Western people see their livelihoods. They feel like everyone has to live like that.
Right.
Like why? Like remember that documentary about the Mali shit? And you're like, yo, why can't people just be farmers and live their life and enjoy the land? Why does everyone need to like go into this whole capitalist system?
Right.
And they force it on you.
They force it on you because when you have a system like that, it benefits the people who force it on you.
Yeah.
There's like a
neocolonialism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this, and it's not even like real capitalism. It's more so it's capitalism, but it's more like I call it kind of like biased capitalism, really.
Yeah.
Because in like a real like capitalist system, it's like, all right, like I do this to make money, and you do this, and you see an opportunity with me, and it's a mutual.
But that's not how it really works. There's all this wars and inequality and shit like that.
But it's crazy because like when you look at like really capitalism and how it's influenced Caribbean culture, it's insane because our culture, our Caribbean culture, pretty much stems from the whole capitalist ideology, like, which is, let's bring these laborers here so that we can maximize profit margins and minimize costs. And that's how Indians, blacks, Chinese, white, all of us ended up in the Caribbean, all our ancestors, was because of this capitalist system.
And race was just the excuse that they used at the time. They just
exactly.
evolved it.
Yeah, exactly. But, and it's really crazy because it's like, when you really, like, do think about it, it's like in its purest form, like capitalism is really like slavery, because it's like, all right, the main goal of capitalism is like, all right, let me like maximize profit and minimize costs, and like the purest form of that is like, yo, no labor costs, aka slavery.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you do the closest you can, which is prison labor.
Right.
Did you read the article
about
the they had like fires out in L.A., which I don't know, that seems like a fucking tradition. So why the fuck do you move to L.A. where trees was on fire? But like what they do, actually, a lot of those firefighters who were fighting the stuff in the forest, a lot of them were like female prisoners, and you can get paid. They get paid $2 an hour.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, dead ass. Yo,
there's a lot of private prison labor.
I keep like
fighting fires.
Like
being a firefighter?
No, not just that. Everything.
But like this like came out like $2 an hour. These female prisoners getting paid
$2 an hour.
Yeah, and
everything.
like, yo, this whole prison system is fucking slavery.
So if you look at it, like this is a really great saying where it's like the more it changes, the more it stays the same. I don't remember where it's from. I don't remember.
Bro, have you guys read the new Jim Crow?
Yeah. I haven't read it, but it's essentially like what it is, because it's like, all right, when you look back in the day, like when they would like round up like black people and like force them into labor. It's the same thing. It's like, yo, you extremely... Because a lot of people don't know, like, but the way policing originally started in America was it was meant to, like, keep track of, like, police the slaves who would try to escape.
Right.
And then that, like, evolved into policing them. But, like, the way they market it is, like, oh, we're here to, like, serve and protect and all this bullshit. But, like, really, it's like, yo, we're going to, like, over-police, like, these minority neighborhoods.
Right.
Like, even if it means, yo, I'm going to plant a drug in this person's car and I'm going to catch them, I'm going to get a quota, I'm going to get, like, a bonus for that.
Right, exactly.
On top of that. And then you put them into, like, prison where they do free labor. and or close to free labor.
Yeah.
And it's private prisons
like
with
America,
private
like
contractors.
pretty much what America does, they give the least amount of money. So like in terms of like the Human like Rights Watch and shit, it doesn't get classified as slavery. So they give a little bit about that. Doesn't classify as slavery, but it's slavery, yo.
It's the same thing as like
slavery never
Indian
left.
and indentured servitude.
It's
just
just
a
pretty much
different,
evolved.
it's a different.
Because it's
name.
like like if you look at slavery, it was like divide the family, pay them as before it was you didn't have to pay them, but then when it came to servitude, indentured servitude,
the shit had to.
It was the same exact thing. It was like you can still be bought and sold.
Right.
Prisoners can still pretty much be bought and sold. They just call it contracting nowadays.
Right, yeah.
Like
You know what I mean?
one thing I noticed is
Yeah.
like when you look at the history, it had to keep evolving.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at it, so they they had the new world. They had people fucking lived here, you dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the new world, so whatever you call it. So like it was that, and then they tried to like enslave like the natives, but they couldn't do it with the hard labor. So they started with the Africans, but then they started ODing to the point where it's like, yo, there's more of them than us. And then like you see Haiti, and it's like, oh shit, like that is the worst. Like Haiti's the worst case scenario. That's the white man's nightmare. Like like you're in school and they tell you about like the Louisiana Purchase. Like, oh wow, Thomas Jefferson, yo, he's so smart. He got all this land for $2 million. No, the only reason he got that land for that cheap is because they lost. Napoleon lost Haiti, and it was like, holy shit, this was the jewel of the Caribbean. That was like when that was
a major seaport.
Hispaniola was the
there.
most like out of all the Caribbean
Everything,
islands, that was the most profitable island.
Yeah.
And they lost that
So
shit.
fertile, like,
and that shit was to like fund all their wars. So he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna focus on eastward expansion, and I'm just gonna sell all this stuff in the west.
Yeah.
So that's why they got it for cheap. So they saw that, and meanwhile, you go to like Jamaica, the motherfuckers book every fucking 2 days. They have a fucking like they're resisting, and like the British were looking at it like, oh shit, yo, we can't keep doing this because they know there's the Maroons in Jamaica. That's the thing, they never tell you about this shit.
They don't tell you about the Maroons.
They always tell you about like this passive shit, like we're just taking this. But it's like, yo, they had like these Maroons in Jamaica. A lot of these Jamaican people were fighting back,
and they had wars. And the Maroons and the colonizers, and then like the colonizers like, all right, fine, we're gonna have a peace treaty. So we'll leave you alone.
So you're looking at like these slave breaker islands. You're looking at just the Nat Turners. You're looking at like a lot of shit in Jamaica and like Grenada and all these places. People fight back. And you're like, yo, long term, this can't work. So they just all they did was keep evolving the system. Yeah, that's all it is. It's
just marketing. It's like, let's change this term from
so like
slavery
like Guyana
to separate but equal. And when separate but equal didn't work, all right, let's change it from separate but equal to private prison.
Like, yo, just think about
private prison to contracting.
So like think about
you know what I mean?
So think about like
so crazy,
like brown
really
people in like Guyana and Trinidad. So slavery. So they had to evolve upon that. So then they're like, oh, they threw the PR term, salt bay that shit on there.
That's salt bay. I don't realize it.
They were just like, we're just gonna call it indentured servitude.
A lot of people don't realize it. It was like
the pinky out when he said
that.
It's
like they would get such little pay. Like so tiny that it really cost them nothing, but you would still get bought and sold as a slave. Families were still ripped apart, like in slavery.
Were they raping them?
Yeah. Of course. Like there's like a rumor that like that I'm like actually part British because my grandfather's mom was. I think there's like a rumor where like she was raped by like a British aristocrat. If you look at my grandfather, he looks super white. Yeah. And like my aunt, she looks totally European. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but she's like she still has Indian features, but like she looks totally white. And like there's all that shit, but like it doesn't get talked about unless you look at like Caribbean scholars. Like for example, like Gayatri Bahadur, she wrote like the book.
I had that book.
Yeah,
I had that book.
It's a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
But like and same thing. Dr. Lisa Autor, who was at the Jaji, so shout out to Jaji Sisters and Simone.
I need to reach out to them.
Yeah. They're super cool. But so, I can lend you the book. It's like Indo-Caribbean feminist thought.
They wrote that?
Well, Dr. Lisa Autor wrote it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think she's Guyanese. Yeah. She's like has her PhD and she like does like a lot of research on this kind of stuff, especially like feminism in the Caribbean. But yeah, there's like all of that doesn't really get like taught to us or really pushed out there. And like even when I was in like just fucking white people school, like people just keep thinking I'm from fucking Africa.
What?
No, like Guyana. Where's that, next to Ghana?
Yeah. No, for real. So
A lot of people thought
yeah.
Haiti was in Africa when I was
Yeah.
in school. They're like, where in Africa is that?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah. So it's like it's one of those things where like unless you learn about it on your own, you're really never gonna know about it.
You gotta teach your own kids,
when
man.
when I look at like prison, it's like prison is the same thing. Like you split up families,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
pay them for as little as you possibly
Oh,
can.
right.
You force them into labor.
Yeah.
Or if they don't do labor, then what do? You keep them longer in prison.
Can I
You know what
complain
mean?
about the legalization of marijuana? How this shit.
Yo.
This shit.
Yo.
My thing
Drop it,
about
Yeah.
the whole
knowledge.
fucking weed thing is like, we was always a thing that's treated legal in the hands of certain people, but in other people it's like the reason for harassment and the splitting up your family and putting you in jail.
Yeah.
And now it's to the point where like, okay, there's certain states with like legal weed is recreational marijuana is legal, but like on a federal level it's illegal. But in
Yeah.
those states, the people who got arrested for selling it beforehand, they still have to serve out their sentences.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we have like, let's be honest, investors putting all their money into white people.
Yeah.
Who are like creating all these like, they fucking brought a town in fucking California. Like
Yeah.
a small town.
Basically
Like,
creating infrastructure
and
for
just
it.
to create this
Yeah.
whole infrastructure, so they have this huge head start on both sides. Because the thing with the whole thing about keeping weed legal, that there's also like a treatment aspect. So there's like there's like, I forgot what it's called. The THC part is like, you just want to get fucking high, blah blah. But there's the other part where it's like for treatment, like people have seizures and stuff like that. That's what the pharmaceutical companies are really scared of. That's why they lobby against it so hard. Because now we can't have people rapping about our future drugs like lean and Xanax.
Yeah.
And all that, when the pharmaceutical companies heard that shit, they always in the office like Percocet, Molly Percocet, like
Tell the future.
the
Keep talking
CEOs
future.
do like the Birdman Money Run. They were just playing that Future album crazy, So-
I'm sure that probably happened.
yeah, but like the whole thing with the like, so these white people are giving an advantage, they're getting all the investors, and like it's gonna be established where they dominate this industry.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like we're suffering, and
Yeah.
it's just
And
like,
still in jail.
and that's why I
Serving
hate it
a
because
previous-
you be reading these fucking articles about like, meet the nuns who
Yeah.
sell weed out
Yeah,
the
yeah.
comments.
Yo, I
They're
saw
trying
that
to make
shit.
it sound
I
so
saw that
cool.
shit.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
meet the hipster weed delivery service,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, yo, this shit
Oh,
is
fuck that.
illegal, and they're
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
here
And they're
talking,
like being glorified.
they're talking
Right, right.
shit
It's
in
like
the New Yorker.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
It's like doing
exactly.
public service.
Yeah, like they're in the New Yorker and shit.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy,
but,
yo. It really is crazy. Which is why I think like fucking humans in the Caribbean diaspora is such a fucking important thing because
'cause, like, you're
it's
putting
one of the
in-
few
Oh,
things
thank
that
you, man.
actually
Thank you.
highlights like real lives, like real lives of Caribbean people that people just don't know about.
Yeah. So like, what
And
was
that's-
what was like the trip just doing that? Like
Yeah.
you said, I'm gonna fucking do this. When did that like go down?
So legit, first post went out January 1st of this year.
oh, you sure only this year?
Wow.
Yeah,
I felt
this
like you've
year.
been doing it for
Crazy.
so long.
I don't know, it feels longer, doesn't
I felt like
it?
you've been doing it for longer. I thought you was like doing it for
And I
like
feel like
3
it's
years.
grown so fast, man. Like that's awesome,
Like
dude. Yeah.
legit, like
And why do you do like the week-long feature instead of like a day? I actually like that you do a week-long feature.
yeah,
Why-
so like
why
for
not?
me, like I've been going back and forth in my head about this. Like maybe I should do it, a daily thing. But I think the week-long thing.
week-long, you get to know the person.
You get to
It
yeah,
makes it
that's
so
the
much
main
more
thing. You get to
intimate, yeah.
know the
It
person.
makes it
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much more
yeah.
intimate, yeah.
And I honestly feel like, just by doing that throughout the week, it's one thing to kind of teach others about West Indian culture, but I think it also teaches us about our own people because.
Yeah.
We're not just this monolithic thing,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know.
Exactly.
We have our own like individual experiences.
Yeah.
There's early on. There's this one guy I featured. He actually lives, I think, here in Brooklyn. He's a writer for Blavity, and
Blavity Blacks.
Yeah, and he's a good dude, man, and he's
Yeah.
a great writer, and he's what's the story? Well, I mean, he's obviously a great.
All right, so we back, man, and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
We went West Indian on you.
Yeah.
So we went on a rum break.
We went on a Roman food break,
Yeah.
Mom came home. She gave us some barbecue chicken and some samosas and some other food. And
Yeah, so I know he was talking
When the
about
interview
something.
turns into a line.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Honestly, these aren't interviews. These are all lines.
There's recorded lines.
Yo, they're lives in the guise of interviews. We just try like, hey, you guys want to interview? We just want you to live with us. We just want you to live with us.
We just feed you ramen food so we don't feel alone.
Yeah. We sedate you with ramen food. Yeah. So yeah, let's get to the humans.
Yeah, let's talk about just humans. You know,
so where you guys at right now? So you know, so Humans of the Caribbean. You know, you started out this year, which we thought you were doing for a long. We thought you were doing for a long time. You only started this year, and really, you saw a lot of growth with that. So you've been doing it for this year. You do week-long features, which is pretty cool because it's more of an intimate setting.
Right.
And as you know, Taylor here is Trini, but Daniel is not Trini. Well, Taylor is Trini, but his dad's from Be More, stand up.
Yeah.
Watch out for the big girls.
Watch out for the big girls.
And he doesn't live in The Wire. Stop asking. He doesn't know Marlo.
I've never seen The Wire.
Oh, really?
I've never seen The Wire.
Oh, it's actually like probably still one of the best series ever.
Yeah. People say it's amazing.
Yeah. So,
but to be honest, I do it out of like a hipster-esque protest.
Trying to avoid.
Yeah. And it's just like I'm not gonna watch The Wire. Yeah.
So he's a hipster.
Yeah.
And Daniel, even himself, he'd be like, "Oh, he's not Trini, boy. Why the fuck you can't have the Caribbean smart?" And he's like, "Yo, he's doing this. Well, they said it was Yankee Soca beforehand, but now are you still calling it Yankee Soca?"
Yeah, I would call it that.
All right, so they're still doing it, the Yankee Soca. So all you guys calling all these fucking Yanks are hating on the Caribbean people. So he's doing it more as an extension to his music. So they're working together on this Humans of the Caribbean, this Diaspora, which is a week-long feature. And you got to follow him on IG, Twitter. Are you on Facebook too? I don't know.
On Facebook. We're on Facebook. Yeah, just type in Humans of the Caribbean Diaspora.
Facebook get a lot of connections. I fucking hate Facebook, but
yeah.
So
and if anybody who's listening would like to reach out, feel free to leave a comment.
So how do you reach out to people? Because because the thing is one day he'll have a doctor, and then he'll have a fucking astronaut. And then
they're all Caribbean.
They're all Caribbean. But that's the thing, because it's Caribbean diaspora. We don't ever look at ourselves like that. And you'd be like, wow, this guy's a fucking Jamaican astronaut going boop into space. Wow, and he's finding these people online because the internet is interconnected. So how do you go about finding, Jamaican astronauts who dogger in space?
You know what's crazy? I think I don't think I do anything that's really out of the norm. I think we're just all doing really dope shit. And I think it's at such a quantity. What was that?
How do you find them though?
Well, no, I think we do it at such a quantity that I literally will probably do the same thing that anybody else would do, and I'll just I will go on I'll look at tags, or I'll I'll go in and look at, or I'll flick through.
Because I think right now you're featuring this girl who has this blog. I forgot her name. I've been seeing it.
Yeah, Sasha Gay. Yeah. And
I guess we could talk about her since we're on it.
She. Actually, how did I find out?
Because through you, I found that other dude, a Jamaican Guyanese guy, Taru.
Taru Josu.
He actually likes all of our shit.
No, because
Johnny.
I love his art.
Johnny.
So fucking.
When I spoke to him on the phone,
that's how we met. Though. We met through him,
bro. You guys will love. I would say out of probably everybody that I've interviewed so far up to this point, I interviewed him on the phone. Our interview lasted an hour and a half.
What do your interviews consist of? What are you talking to?
Well, it's a variety of things, but it depends on who they are. So I'll tailor the questions to who they are. Yeah. But sometimes I'll reach out to people and I kind of throw them the same kind of question because I kind of want consistency to a certain point. But with him, I instantly vibe with him, and
he seems really cool. He's like a guy.
He's a laid back dude.
Joe, we're gonna get you on the podcast,
and
we're gonna interview you.
Lime with us, man.
The Soca is LIMECAST.
He's such a laid back dude, and and he's so talented. I think recently for Carnival. During Marshall Monday,
that's a guy I want to see win, man.
Yeah, he had his art in the backdrop, and somebody did an animation of it. Marshall was performing right there.
Did you see Super Guyana, man, at the Rupee birthday bash yesterday?
There was the guy with the flag.
Yeah,
on his back,
and he was wearing the finest Pasa whites.
Yeah,
okay, all white.
Yeah,
and with a Guyanese flag, he was not watching the concert at all.
He was not.
Think about it. This concert was so stacked. Like King Bubba, Mr. Killer, Benji, not Benji, fucking Bungie, all these people, and he did not look at it once. He only looked at it for 5 minutes when Cass was performing.
He knew he had had to get a goal.
Yo, his back was face to the stage.
He was
back
the whole
was the
time.
stage, and he was just teeping wise the whole time, and getting with arguments with all these girls who don't want him to teep a wide, and he's like mad aggressive. I was like, yo, this Super Guyana man.
Super Guyana man.
Yo, he looks like a skinny Beanie Siegel with a guy in his flag dressed in all white, bro. And it was like, it was just so legendary. Yo, this concert, there's another guy in these, like, because you weren't, like, me and Renee, we constantly kept moving up, because she's really short, so, like, I also, like, while we're moving up, I was also, like, positioning her so she can still see.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's, like, all these tall people and, like, big gals and things. And so it was just, like, we're moving up. And there was this one part, I think Lyrical was performing. And there was this Guyanese guy, which, I don't know, somehow they just pushed their way to the front. And then, like, it's like 4 of them. And he has a Guyanese flag. And he's just holding it up, like, behind his back. Like covering so you can't see.
Yeah.
And there's just, like, this Indian gal behind her. She's like, hey, excuse me. Can you, move the flag so I can see? And he turns around like, he's really, like, listening, like, understand. Because usually when you talk to someone in the like, hey, excuse me.
Right.
They understand. He turns around, he looks her in the eye, and I look at his mouth, and he just says, yo, fuck you. And he turns around and puts the guy in his flag and blocks her view the entire Lyrical performance. And then there's people in the back, they were picking it up, making sure it blocks her. And I was dying, bro. I mean, it was so rude, but it was so funny, bro. There was so much, like, bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's also because, like, me and Richie had, like we have that vision
We
where
have
we
the,
know this stupid shit.
We can notice it.
So,
We
like,
can laugh at it too. Like,
Yeah.
So, like, when we first got there, I don't know if you were there yet, but, like, there was, like, a fight that just happened. No, well, like, there's one girl, she took her drink and, like, ruined in the face of the other girl. And that's when, like, Mr. Legs was performing. It was, like, really early. Not even if you were there.
Yeah.
And, like, they were about to fight, but then their boys was pulling each other apart. And it was just, like, seeing all this dumb shit.
Yeah.
No, Super Guyana man.
Super Guyana.
Super Guyana
Yo, there was
man.
another part. There was some dude, like, during the concert, he was smoking a cigarette. He was smoking a cigarette. You're not supposed to smoke a cigarette.
Major fire hazard.
And then, like,
Right, yeah.
yo, out of nowhere, like, he's him, he's, like, with a group of people. This old chotch come here. This old chotch, he has, like, the glasses, like, the big beer belly, and wearing a button-up shirt. And he comes up and he's like, hey, boy, what you doing? What you doing? Put the thing out. And then he's like, get out of here. He was telling me, like, get out of here. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, put the thing out. And the guy, like, actually put the cigarette out. And he's, like, yelling at him to get out of here. It's like this old, like, brown dude yelling at this other guy. And I'm just like, yo, I know this, like, whole concert was stush, but, like, yo, there were just so many
funny moments, man.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, yo, that's the lens that we have of, like, our Caribbean, like,
so that's how we're kind of
Indian
able to
gangs,
do this.
Yeah.
Which is why when I see you actually highlighting, like, actual, like, successful awesome Caribbean people, like, it breaks that stereotype of, like, yo, this is the chotch. This is like the creepy dude who's teeping wine.
This is like this is a news anchor.
Yeah,
this is what she did.
This is what she does as a Caribbean
or
woman.
like what's her face?
Man.
Like Rotan, the Rotan.
Oh, the Rotan. Oh, yeah.
She's really
she's
cool.
dope.
She's so dope.
She's so down to earth.
She's
her
like,
and her boyfriend, DJ Live.
Yeah, I think he's out here actually
cool.
right now. But, like, yeah, she's, like, putting on her... That's the first time I ever heard of the, like, Rotan. Like, it's an island off Honduras.
Same here.
And it's, like,
and I didn't know this, but, like, Punta
people.
came from them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought Punta was just a Honduran genre.
Oh, I didn't. I just thought... I didn't even heard of Punta.
Yeah, it reminds me of... It almost reminds me of Soca. And you can see how it obviously came from this... island,
but if you guys don't know, like, there's, like, these group of people in the Caribbean, the Black Carib people, or the Garifuna people, and one thing people don't realize that, yo, they weren't enslaved. They were the only group of black people who weren't enslaved. Pretty much the ship came out of here, and the ship crashed, and the white people died, and they were, like, in St. Vincent, and they did, like, the peace emoji, like, yo, fuck out of here, bitch. And they've been chilling ever since, yo. That's pretty much their history. They just been chilling. Peaceful, like, yo, if you think about, like, Honduras has all this crazy violence with the MS-13 and shit.
Yeah.
But they're in their own island, just, like, dancing Punta and chilling. But now, like, that shit's starting to leak over because people are trying to run away from it.
Yeah, she was telling me that it's starting to kind of, like, spill over.
Yeah, but, like, they're, like, just real peaceful, dancing Punta and just, chilling. They're, like, the most African out of all of us because they didn't go through any of this shit. They're just, like, they came here and it was like, oh, all right.
How just chill.
All right, these white
Right.
people dead. All right.
This island is
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Birdman
hang
hand
out.
roll.
Let's like make some music and have some fun.
Yeah. It's like, all right, we're on this boat for a little bit. Let's continue what we're doing.
That's
continue what
pretty
we're doing.
dope. Because,
Yeah.
like, you know, the whole narrative is, you know, all the Oscar winners, you know, they're getting raped and, like, getting beaten. And that's all you think about black people. They're just victims. Perpetual victims who sell trauma. Meanwhile, no, that's not the truth. These people just came here and they're chilling and, you know, having their own culture and it's vibrant and, you know, they're trying to do their own thing. But, like, that's the thing. That's a story that we would have never, I would have never known from the human, well, I followed her into where I probably figured out anyway because she was talking about. But, like, most people would have never known
Yeah.
from, like, this is us. This is the Caribbean diaspora. A lot of things, time you see things, it's mainly Anglo, which we were talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, there's, you know, Garifuna people who speak their own language. They have their own music. You know, there's the Afro-Latino people who
Right,
they have their
exactly.
own thing. And, like,
And
a
I
lot
want
of
to explore
times
more
they're
of them too as well.
But
yeah.
a lot of times it's segmented, and that's what I was telling. Like, yo, a lot of times they don't really see themselves as a Caribbean because, you know, every time it's Caribbean, you know, it's Bob Marley's our president.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But, like,
Well, that-
you are
the
putting that
difference is
microscope
that
and
you're,
showing
you're,
it.
you're actually creating a narrative for Caribbean people, whereas like you're actually highlighting, you know, like, yo, these are these people, and this is this, and this girl does this, and this person is successful because of this, and it's shifting the narrative to where it's like, yo, I don't have to look up to like this white person
whatever
who's
this
super
narrative- yeah.
successful.
Right,
I
right.
don't have to look up to
I can look up to
this
here-
person.
Here's
And
this
that's-
Garifuna
Yeah.
person who's
Yeah.
a fucking, like, you know,
Yeah.
news anchor or something
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Right.
And it's one of those things where it's like, yo, finally, like, here's a person that I can relate to and I can aspire to and relate to, and just like
You
have
see
more,
yourself.
you see yourself in them, and like that shifts the mental narrative. So when I see like projects like this, it's just like in the long run, it's just gonna be so impactful.
Yo, and that's
You know
why
what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I'm like really excited about the documentary. We're
Yeah.
titling it District 28.
Oh,
And
that's sick.
Yeah. And legit it's gonna be about all these people who just, you know, are like kind of like, you know, these like movers and shakers within the community. And kind of like what you said, they're people that, you know, young kids or whomever can just kind of like look up to and just say, man, like Richard Davis doing this great thing.
Yeah.
Ravi Ramkissoon is doing this great thing.
Yeah.
Radha Singh is doing this great thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I also wanted to do it for multiple reasons. So, you know, obviously just for a visual thing, just the juxtaposition, you see like a black guy talking to, let's say for example, if a person without any West Indian background is like watching this thing and they see a black guy interacting with all these Indian people, they may think, okay, that's kind of weird. Why are they interacting? You know, and then that's something that we can kind of introduce and show, like, hey, you know, like this is a part of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Not only is it like, and that's another thing that I think has been, you know, kind of taken and run with.
Yeah.
As far as the narrative is concerned, is that it's just a black hub, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's white, Chinese,
And-
indigenous, everything.
Right, and not just that, but also the history in Guyana. You know, with you know, the black and Indian strife. I wanted to show.
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I wanted to show that. Look, there's this.
So
There's
are you
these
gonna
black
go to,
guys
are you
who
gonna go to
came.
Brooklyn to cover? Because one of the weird things is that all the brown Guyanese people are in Queens, and all the black Guyanese people are from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So do you plan on going to Brooklyn?
Oh no, so this is primarily about the Indo-Guyanese.
That's good because
yeah.
yo, you don't see
Yeah.
shit about that.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say. So like, I think it's very important to show that there are two black guys coming in from Baltimore, Maryland, driving 3 hours up here to big up this community and putting themselves
like
lower.
I'll be
to
honest,
push
if I
these-
didn't grow up in this neighborhood, if Richie wasn't my friend, I wouldn't know Indo-Korean people exist.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people in my family, some of them don't know that these Indo-Korean people exist. Till later, my mom telling you, oh, you know about the Guyanese people that clean meat the same way we clean meat. yo, we had this secret master plan to make our moms
we're gonna get my
together.
mom, Ken's mom,
Yeah.
all come together to do a cook-off.
Yo, it was so
like write
funny,
down
like,
everything they do.
We had like a little thing before we went to China, and we like Brandon's mom was like out there like making drinks, like, yo, what are you doing? They talk about food. Go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rachel, man.
Yeah, shout out to Rachel. But seeing stuff like that, bro. Again, it all goes back because it's like obviously you know we have the racial divide, but like when we see projects like this, especially when they blow up and they go more mainstream, it's gonna be a tool of communication that breaks finally fucking
creating
breaks
this
that
image.
narrative.
Yeah,
Of,
exactly.
yo, I'm black and you're Indian and we can never get along.
Right.
And it's finally just gonna fucking like break that. And
But that's
be
kind of like all this shit that we're doing is like, we're trying to
break all
we're
that.
reclaiming the narrative.
Exactly.
and we need to. Like,
because like
desperately need to.
friendships like this exist. Kendrick's and Richie that exists. But like when you think about the Caribbean and you know a little bit more, you may think, okay, maybe these people stick to their own and these people stick to their own. But
that's
no,
how
it's
they
not like
act
that's more
initially.
nuanced than that.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we wanted to show in this document, just by visually, but also we want to show that look, there are a lot of people who are doing great things within this community, and it needs to be highlighted.
Yeah, so like we can see ourselves. But I have a question. So like, this is all the Caribbean thing and all that. Daniel, being African American, do you think like maybe it's can future like expand to African American? Because I always want to see like diaspora connections. So do you think it can expand to that? Because in a sense, I feel like black people in general need that, because anytime like they see us, it's always on an entertainer perspective. So
Right.
do you
It's
think,
never like
Yes.
it's never like on a personal like
yeah.
relation.
So do you think like you can like maybe in the future like expand to that, or like what do you think about that? Just from your case, because you're completely African American. Well, you're like
African.
honestly, man.
I say African American.
Yeah, but like the truth is, man, you guys are all black. That whole shit is
I
like
think that's
just
the
made
thing
up.
though. Like
But,
you said,
yeah.
African Americans, sort of. I guess there's sort of like a sort of artificial difference between.
But this is,
that. But I think from my part of this,
because you're so ingrained, so you probably see it more. Than others,
so I see like I'm learning from this, and it's something completely new that I wouldn't have seen this complete perspective on before.
Yeah.
So I like learning all this stuff, and I think in the future, you're right that this can be a sort of
like a race.
pan black kind of thing.
It's not about like everybody getting their aspect to Africa. It's more just recognizing each other that we're all African.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, but it's like, what do you think about this divide then, from your perspective? Because you're at least ingrained to see like more of like this other side. Because like my personal opinion is like people are just arguing over false narratives that white people created.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like a lack of knowledge, really, because it's like you see yourself as part of one group, and you just see this other group as something completely different, but you don't know anything about that other group.
The only thing you know about the other group is that they're saying they're better than you because we're more successful. And all our kids go to Harvard.
Yeah.
And Harvard's a whole nother like white. Harvard's like those Ivy League schools are a white supremacy tool. I was reading this shit like how like 41% of them are legacy.
Oh yeah.
And like think about it, they're all like in the top. Like if you're going to like a presidency, you have to be like freaking Harvard or Yale.
Oh yeah.
So then
definitely.
like people like Obama and like Bill Clinton, they actually had to fight their way winning at Harvard and Yale before they could even get to the presidency, because they're not from that thing. But like it's a whole other discussion. Yeah. So.
But yeah, I think ultimately for me, I think so. I mean, I guess outside of the Caribbean, you asked about like how we see things progressing in the future. For this, immediately, I want us to take this to being like a multimedia kind of endeavor. I mean, we do music with SLYGHT PEPPAH. We do documentaries. We do these features. So we want to make it more of like a multimedia kind of endeavor, and eventually kind of bring other people into it.
Yeah, because like hearing you, what's his face who done the Seawall documentary?
Yeah, Mason Richards.
I think he'd be like really like, because when we spoke to him, he was like. He could have been stush, but no, he was like,
wasn't,
whoa.
Yeah.
And really?
That's the thing I
and we're
noticed.
like, yo, we're really small, but blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, yeah.
We're
When do you
talking
have
about
time?
the Soca Analyst
And he
podcast.
was like,
yeah.
I could really see like you guys will already have like
you
awesome
guys will-
chemistry to work together.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's like, he knows way more photography than any. Because like he does real film, like shit. And he's trying to build like a film industry in Guyana.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
that's
because
nice.
like a lot of the Guyanese films, they'll be like, they'll go shoot in Trinidad because they have more infrastructure and industry there. But he's like, no, I'm gonna do this in Guyana.
Build it.
Right.
And I'm gonna hire local people to do the acting. And a lot of people were just regular Guyanese people.
Yep.
Like he made them do the acting.
Yeah.
So like he would like we gotta put him in contact with them.
I have his number upstairs, so
yeah, man,
I'll
give
you guys his number.
Yeah, that'll be dope, man.
Yeah, send you guys his number.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the things that we want to do eventually is just like connect. Oh well, we want to make this multimedia endeavor, but then we also want to get down to the ultimate goal is essentially connecting everybody. That's the ultimate goal.
I feel with all of us.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal for all of us. We just have our own means to getting there, and we're adding like our own little piece of the puzzle. The Soca analyst, that's another piece of the puzzle.
Or like, we're talking about the what's that? Rotan's Finest.
Yeah. She's adding her own piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, that's another piece.
You know, it's crazy. Like all of us,
DJ Live and it's his own threads and shit.
Yeah.
Like
we're all
big
doing
enough
our own
Caribbean people,
thing.
and it's all little pieces. But it's like
they're all
the
connected.
proud Caribbean too. The proud Caribbean.
Oh yeah.
But like the reason it's funny because like even though our shit is like really small and they've probably been here longer. But somehow, some way, it kind of already like connected really early.
Yeah.
Because it's just that like-mindedness of
we understand. We all have the same vision.
Right.
We all want to change the narrative. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So my question to you guys is like Humans of the Caribbean, SLYGHT PEPPAH.
Daniel,
where
Taylor,
do you guys sleep? I don't know. Let's say 5 years. Where do you guys ideally want to see like in 5 years time? Like
5 years?
where do you guys want to be?
Oh, we
with
have
it?
that interview question. Now,
Yeah.
after that is how many doubles can you fit into?
That's the next question.
Ultimately,
How much rum can you drink?
Ultimately, working for ourselves. That's the main dream. Working for ourselves and being able to kind of. I would say
is doing this like as like the main like full time career. Like life, everything. This is what you guys want.
Yeah, and I would say that it's a mix between. So it wouldn't just be like, okay, we have our own business and it's just for us. It's literally gonna be like a mix between business and giving back, you know, and I think that'd
be dope.
I think that's
I'm thinking like the Soca analyst.
That's exactly what we think about. How we
feel
think
like
about
all
it too,
of us,
not working for any like asshole.
I know. Working with Caribbean people and like doing it, but go on.
None of those my jag on people.
Jag-ons.
But I feel like everybody who gets to a certain point has like a social responsibility to kind of like give back to the community that they kind of came from, you know, and you know, for us, it's just like, man, like we're big upping this community. It only makes sense for us to give back. So if we ever, you know, the more we, you know, if we, you know, the more that we kind of build and build and build, the more that we want to give and give and give.
And there's just like so many future challenges. I'm thinking like, because we're doing it here, but then like coming from here to there, there's a lot of like resistance. Like, you know,
especially
people are like saying like, oh, you're not Caribbean, or you don't speak the way I do, or you know,
it's one thing already like battling like white supremacy, but it's also the divide among our own people.
You battle your own people.
But he is right though. I think like him doing this is one of those methods
that like
because like literally like it shows that we all have our own experiences. Like you'll have I featured that one woman. She's in South Korea. She's like a straight up otaku, you know, and you know she's really into South Korean culture, but she's straight from Trinidad, you know, and she doesn't fit that, you know, that classic, you know, Trini narrative, you know, but you don't have to, but she's still Trini, and she always big ups the culture anyway.
Shout out to you whining the K-pop.
You know, and she
Big Bang.
And she came up to me and like before we even like did the thing, she was like, I'm not sure if it's gonna really resonate. And I'm like, trust me, like, you know, it's gonna resonate with people. Like, like your story is. There's so many other people I resonate with it. You know what I mean? I'm not like a complete otaku. But I'm like a little bit like actually what's that term that we used to come up with? A Negro taku. Negro taku. Negro taku. Yeah. So like literally like it resonates more than you think, you know?
Negro taku.
That is phenomenal.
Yo, you guys gotta use it. You guys gotta use it.
Us making a dumb ass.
I know.
They have to SLYGHT PEPPAH. SLYGHT PEPPAH, the Negro taku.
Negro taku.
Yo, that's gonna be the first album.
We just gotta feature like Rich Chigga and everybody.
Marvin the Beast.
Marvin the Beast is gonna be on it. All right, Warren's gonna be on it. Warren's gonna be on it.
Blacks.
Perpetually sweating.
But no, like legit, man. Like we just want to show that we come in so many different shapes and colors and sizes, you know, and not only do people outside the community to see that, but we need to see that.
Yeah.
You know, to be more accepting of ourselves. Yeah. So like myself, you know, like I said, I always pit myself as being outside of things because I'm half and half, you know?
Are you really outside? You're probably inside, but people don't know it's inside.
Well,
you're there. Maybe the narrative says you're outside, but you're really inside.
Yeah, and and for me, it's just like I feel like when I look at myself, I feel like I mean, statistically, this doesn't make sense, but I'm 100% black. I'm 100% Trini. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like it all.
Or according to the KKK, goddamn nigga.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
Please leave that in.
Fuck it, we're leaving it in.
So
I thought y'all looking at him. I'm like, he's about to say something super insightful.
100% cool and 100% cool.
Oh my god.
But
oh my god.
No, it's funny, but like there's like a little deeper meaning to say.
No, yeah.
And like for me, like
perception.
For me, like I've grown up so much all my life in experiencing the you know Black American side, you know, and touches and taste here and there, I would have experiences with the Trini side, but now this is my kind of way of like saying, all right, I'm gonna take it by the reins, and really understand it for what it is by not just doing my own exploration, but by talking to people like yourselves, interviewing people within the community here and just learning from them. Every time that I talk to somebody new, I kind of learn something new about myself, and about, this area that my family comes from,
I feel like that's like us too,
Absolutely,
we're trying to learn first.
Whatever, every video that we do, every Soca song that we big up, every discussion that we have with everybody, it just like, it just adds a tiny
it's a
piece
growth
to like
process.
the greater puzzle, like.
That's a growth process,
Yeah, but that's cool, man. I just want to say, we are just so fucking excited to see where you guys are going.
Man. And same thing for you guys, man. I'm so excited about
just one of many collaborations. And one thing I also want to say too that I put up in my post today, but I want to say thank you guys for being there for the Soca Analyst from the get go before. From our first video to our first couple IG posts, and you guys always supporting us with always even if it's just likes on Instagram. I always just see you guys always just there as the first ones, always helping us and bigging us up, and
bro, it's just like a straight vibe.
So
it's just
much,
like a straight vibe. Every time I talk to either of you guys, either on Twitter or Instagram, it's just man, these guys just get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was thinking about it. It's just this is crazy, man. We just did this just to do
and I learned so much from you guys.
No,
I learned so much from you guys actually, just from the things that you either tweet about or put on Instagram. It's just like how I said, I'll talk to certain people and I'll learn certain things. Whenever you guys post things about the culture, I'm oh man, I didn't know about that.
But same for you. We're just we gotta go. I'm I have to go to more of these events. This guy's in the desert.
Exactly.
And he's doing he's been doing Humans of the Caribbean, and he's where in Southeast Asia is Trinidad? Can you tell me? That's where he's at, and he's doing this, and he's exposing all these people. And we're just we live in a cultural hub that's about to get gentrified out, and so we might as well
highlight it now, and that's the motivational part we get.
But it's even crazy. The first thing me going into it was I'm going to a Puerto Rican Bomba Plena event, and it was just it's all of us.
Absolutely.
All of them when they come on.
All of we in the all of we in the festival. All of we. What type of y'all drinking?
But yeah, man, it's all about bringing all the cultures together, and that's what I want to do. Well, not just the Anglo or even the Francophone speaking, but even the Spanish speaking. You know what I mean? I think that they've all...
Even the Dutch speaking.
Definitely.
Because even I forgot, I was talking to one guy, I was yo, what genres of music do you listen to in Aruba? And he told me, I forgot, it was Riombo, some shit. I could barely find any of it on YouTube.
Heard of that.
Yeah, I wrote it down on Trello. Maybe Richie can show you later.
We'll check it out,
But, I was just yo, I never heard that. Can you tell me more about it? He didn't really tell me much, but immediately I went, he probably didn't know, but immediately I'm going to YouTube to find this out. And it's barely on there. Or when the dude did the red on music from Bahamas, Rake and Scrape, and I was like, yo, there's no like centralized location for like the Rake and Scrape music.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, some of this stuff is really dope, man.
Right,
yo, I gotta
right.
send you some of this shit.
Yeah,
Richie.
yeah.
It's from the
fucking-
Bahamas?
Yeah, remember that one? I don't know. This was like a while ago. On Twitter, you retweeted it where he's like, "Yo, tonight I'm gonna do like a thread on like some of my favorite songs from the Bahamas." He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's a person from Bahamas. And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna follow this." And he actually did it. And I was like, I was talking to him. I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about. I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah." I was
Yeah,
talking to
yeah,
him,
yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, this is really dope." And I found
I
like
know
some
exactly
really
what
good
you're talking
music.
about,
I forgot the name of this one singer, yo. Her voice is incredible. Her song actually kind of took off a little bit in Trinidad. Where she did an Ojo.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
Yo, speaking of which, I just want to say the people. I don't know. To be honest, before Twitter, I didn't realize how rabid the Bahamian community is. Like on Twitter, like they are the most like. They really big up their own like community and culture. Like I didn't realize how like
I mean,
of a
but
force
why
they
is there
were.
no centralized location for me to find Rake and Scrape?
True, but just in general, like
Yeah.
I'll tweet something
there's
about like Bahamas,
and there's like the
and then they'll like just like
what's the Bahamian police force shit, that one account? I forgot. They're like, yo, anytime you slander Bahamian, they like come for you, bro.
Yeah.
No, that's how
That is not a
Twitter
joke.
really
That
is.
is not a
man.
joke.
Twitter's all these like communities. There's like Vinci Twitter,
Yeah.
Jamaican Twitter,
So
Dominican
dope.
Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, people just see a flag in your name, they're just gonna follow you. And
Yeah.
then that's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it always works.
Yeah.
That's how like the whole thing happens.
Yeah.
There's like, Haitian Twitter, Dominican.
That's like a meme I saw where it's like, yo, every single Caribbean person that has like any type of social media account, for some reason it's just ingrained in their brain that they need to put their emoji flag in the
Right,
description.
we need to do
And
this.
it's so true
Yeah.
because I'm like, yo, I look at
You
like
don't
my
see it
Instagram and
anywhere
it's like,
else.
yo, I have my Guyana flag there, and it's like, it's so true though. Like you don't see like Japanese people put it like the Japan
You
flag.
don't see like
Chinese
Italian people putting the
Yeah,
Italian
like
flag.
you don't see
yeah.
like, at least not on their social media accounts and shit. You don't see like Polish people doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like
It's only in the
it's like
Caribbean.
I think it's like that whole raise your flag culture.
Yeah, they
and
jump
shit.
and wave too
You
much.
know what I
Really
mean?
is.
Like-
They want that too much.
It's true, man. It's so
Alright,
fucking true.
man.
But yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for taking the trip to come all
Bro,
the way to
yeah,
New York.
thank you for
and
having
to
us,
come
man.
do this
Yeah, man.
podcast with us. It's just
Yo,
this
this
is
is gonna be the-
LIMECAST.
Outside of the outside of the
Limecast
podcast,
now.
this will be the first of many limes, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. And we're bringing back LimeWire.
Yeah,
You're gonna have a track featuring Michelle Montano, 50 Cent, Elvis Presley. You're right. Beethoven. And
Marvin Gaye.
all on the Crank That Soldier Boy remix.
It's a remix that you just never heard.
Yeah.
It was never released in studio. It's alright. It's gonna be dope.
Bach and Michelle.
Before we go, just let's just give a message to the people where they can find you guys again. So you guys are on Instagram as Humans of the Caribbean Diaspora.
Humans
You
of the
guys
Caribbean
are on
Diaspora.
Twitter.
As SLYGHT Pepper.
Okay.
Facebook, Humans of the Caribbean Diaspora.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
SoundCloud. Listen to
SoundCloud.
music. They
Yes.
SoundCloud on
tunes.
SLYGHT Pepper.
They have a
Slight
lot-
Pepper,
yeah.
spelled
Are you guys on like
SLYGHT.
Mixcloud and all the other things?
Oh
too?
no, just SoundCloud.
What
for
about
now.
iTunes?
We have one song on iTunes called "Pooh Make It Act Right," which was one of our early songs because we're just messing around and like, yo,
Nice.
let's just make this song.
Nice.
And we have like a little sample of Santana the Puppet in the beginning. It's hilarious.
All right.
But, yeah.
Look out for the Marvin the Beast song.
Yes, we're gonna be featured on the track.
And Negro Otaku. Album coming soon.
Volume 1.
All right, man. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all the listeners out there. Look out, we're gonna have another video coming out soon.
And this one real long, so you can clean your house and
Yes, you can listen to
work.
this on the way to work and on the way back,
Yes,
and while
yes,
you're
yes.
at work, all in one day.
Exactly.
So this is the Monstera podcast.
Make sure the
and-
data's up.
Yes, absolutely. So as usual, like again, say thank you guys, and as usual, big up and bless.
This is 104 Rum FM.